Good morning and welcome to today's New York City hearing on the Committee of Zoning and Franchises. At any point, no one may approach the dais at any time during today's hearing. If you'd like to testify today, please see one of the Sergeant-at-Arms in the back to fill out a testimony slip. Please silence all electronic devices. Chair, you may begin.
Zoom webinar host, has the webinar started?
Webinar has just started. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to a meeting of the Subcommittee on Zoning and Franchises. I am Councilmember Kevin Rowley, Chair of the Subcommittee. I'm joined today remotely by Councilmember Moyer, and in the room, we're joined by Councilmember Brandon. Today, we are scheduled to hold a public hearing on the applications related to a proposal to develop a casino complex in the city under the state's initiative to issue up to 3 gaming facility licenses in the downstate area, which includes New York City. This is the third such proposal to have come to the council for review this year, following one in Queens, one in Manhattan. Before opening the hearing, I will go over the hearing procedures. This meeting is being held in hybrid format. Members of the public who wish to testify may testify in person or through Zoom. Members of the public wishing to testify remotely may register by visiting the New York City Council's website at www.councilnyc.gov/land-use to sign up. For those of you here in person, please see one of the Sergeant-at-Arms to prepare and submit a speaker's card. Members of the public may also view a live stream broadcast of this meeting at the Council's website. When you are called to testify before the subcommittee, if joining us remotely, you will remain muted until recognized by myself to speak. When you are recognized, your microphone will be unmuted. We will limit public testimony to 2 minutes per witness. If you have additional testimony you would like the subcommittee to consider, or if you have written testimony you would like the subcommittee to consider, please submit it instead of appearing in person. You can email it to landusetestimony@council.nyc.gov. Written testimony may be submitted up to 3 days after the hearing is closed. Please indicate the LU number and or project name in the subject line of your email. We request that witnesses joining us remotely remain in the meeting until you are excused by myself, as council members may have questions. Lastly, for everyone attending today's meeting, this is a government proceeding and decorum must be observed at all times. Members of the public are asked not to speak during the meeting unless you are testifying. The witness table is reserved for people called to testify, and no video recording or photography is allowed from the witness table. Further, members of the public may not present audio or video recordings as testimony, but may submit transcript of such recording to the Sergeant-at-Arms for inclusion in the hearing record. I will now open the public hearing on LU 297 relating to the Coney Development proposal in Councilmember Brandon's district in Brooklyn. I want to note up front, as I've stated before, it is important to clarify that the proposal to license up to 3 downstate gaming facility is a state initiative, and that the state is leading the process to decide which proposals are awarded a license. This state-led process will consist of 3 steps to begin later this year. First is a review by the Community Advisory Committee, or CAC, followed by a review of the Gaming Facility Location Board. And final decision is issued by the State Gaming Commission. It is important to note that the CAC process will provide another opportunity for public input about the merits of each casino proposal. A decision by the state is expected at the end of the year. The Coney Development proposal is here today under the council review because gaming license applicants are required to have received the necessary local land use approval in order to compete for a state license in the first place. So to be very clear, we are not here today to decide whether there should be a casino in Coney Island. We are here today to determine whether that requested land use approval, which is a request to amend the city map, is appropriate. The applicant seeking approval to amend the city map in 4 ways to demap a portion of Bowery, demap and purchase 2 volumes of air, 1 over a portion of West 12th Street, 1 over a portion of Stillwell Avenue, and change the grade of a portion of Stillwell Avenue. The action being discussed today does not authorize the applicant to actually build a casino. Whether the applicant may ultimately build a casino is a question that the state will ultimately decide later this year. Having made these clarifying remarks, for anyone wishing to testify on this item remotely, if you have not already done so, you must register online by visiting the council's website at council.nyc.gov/land use. For anyone with us in person, please see one of the Sergeant at Arms to submit a speaker's card. And if you are filling out a speaker's card, please make sure to indicate whether you are testifying in favor or in opposition. As always, if you would prefer to submit written testimony, you may do so by emailing it to landusetestimony@council.nyc.gov. I would now like to recognize Councilmember Brandon for his remarks.
Thank you, Chair Riley. Good morning, everyone. I'm Councilmember Justin Brannon, and I proudly represent Coney Island in the New York City Council. Coney Island has always stood as a beacon of excitement, imagination, and possibility, a symbol of egalitarianism and grit, a place of resilience and reinvention. It is the original people's playground. It's a very special place rooted in entertainment, equity, big dreams, and endless opportunity. 3 months a year, when the weather is nice, the entire world descends upon Coney Island. People across the world dream of one day traveling to New York just to ride the Cyclone and the Wonder Wheel. They dream of traveling just to touch the sand, to go for a stroll on the world-famous boardwalk and smell the salty sea breeze. But it's my job to represent Coney Island for the other 9 months a year, too. Don't get me wrong, we love the tourists and their tax dollars, but it's my responsibility and my honor to do what's best for the hardworking people who call Coney Island their home 12 months a year and not just when the weather is nice. While we anticipate the proposal to bring a casino to the area will represent a significant private investment that could create quality permanent jobs, generate year-round economic activity, and bring much-needed investments and revenue to our community, I must at the same time acknowledge the valid concerns that have been raised by so many of my constituents, including issues related to traffic, public safety, and the broader social impacts that casinos come along with. I think everyone needs to fully understand the overall consequences of opening a casino in a community, so the real-life, real-world risk-benefit analysis here is everything. A development of this scale must first and foremost benefit the people who live here and not burden them. Lastly, casinos are not a magic fix that will solve all local and statewide fiscal challenges. So all of these concerns deserve serious attention, and I look forward to addressing them in greater detail today. To be clear, as Chair Riley said, the application we are considering today is not to approve or deny a casino in Coney Island. That decision ultimately lies with the New York State Gaming Commission, and the state authority can only make that decision after the conclusion of the work of the Community Advisory Committee that will be convened if this development team's application for a casino license is filed with the state later this month. If this application moves forward, the Community Advisory Committee will present an opportunity for robust community engagement and feedback about the merits of having this casino in Coney Island or not. I am sure all local stakeholders will rigorously engage in this New York State process, and I look forward to that continued engagement. While this action before us today is an important one, it is not the end of the process or the end of the public engagement regarding the casino proposal or the future of Coney Island. What is before the City Council today are street mapping actions that would allow the casino application to be considered by the state authorities for one of the 3 gaming facility licenses that are available. And let us be clear, every land use action this council has taken regarding any of the casinos throughout the 5 boroughs is contingent on actually getting a gaming license from the state. Simply put, If a casino applicant is denied a casino license or does not file for a license, the land use action disappears and the zoning remains exactly what it is today. I appreciate the opportunity to continue this dialogue today and to hear from all the stakeholders. I want to thank my constituents who have stayed engaged throughout this process thus far, and to everyone joining us today for their thoughtful contributions to this very important conversation around the future of Coney Island. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Brandon. I just want to state for the record, we're joined remotely by Councilmember Abreu and in the room with Councilmember Carr and Salam. I will now call the applicant panel for this proposal, which consists of Jody Stein, Sarah Davis, Kaveh Saxena, Peter McKinney, Paul Pippin, Sam Garrity, Robert Cornegy, and Eva Schneider. Council, can you please administer the affirmation?
Applicants, I'll ask you all to raise your right hands, state your name for the record when I ask you in order the affirmation. Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth in your testimony before this subcommittee and in answer to all council member questions? Jody Stein. Sarah Davis. Kaveh Saxena. Peter McEnany. Paul Pippin. Sam Garrity. Sam Garrity. Sorry, did I hear Paul Pippin is here or? Okay. Mr. Cornegy. Eva Schneider.
Thank you. For the viewing public, if you need an accessible version of this presentation, please send an email request to landusetestimony@council.nyc.gov. And now the applicant team may begin. Please state your name and organization for the record before you begin. You could turn the mic on, please. Thank you.
That would be helpful. Thank you so much, Chair Riley, Councilman Brannan, the rest of the committee. My name is Jody Stein. I'm with Shepard Mullen. I'm here with my colleagues at the table, Sarah Davis from FX and Robert Cornegy. We're here to present the CONY. Next slide, please. I just want to take a moment, if I could, to tell you about our team, which is a partnership with Global Gaming, Thor Equities, Saratoga, and Legends, and then we have an amazing team of great consultants. Next slide, please. I'm going to turn it over now to FX, which is the amazing architect on this project, and Sarah Davis.
Thanks, Jody. Hi, I'm Sarah Davis with FX Collaborative. You could go to the next slide. On the screen, you can see the proposed site here outlined in red. There's 4 blocks that make up the project site. You can see it's very centrally located among a lot of the parks and existing amusements of Coney Island. That arc that you see in the middle of the screen is Surf Avenue, just to give you some orientation, and then, of course, the boardwalk and the beach to the south. Next slide, please. We wanted to show you our process, and really that starts looking back at the history of Coney Island. And these images on the screen really represent what was described about how the character of Coney Island in its history. The architecture has a monumental scale, right? It's activated year-round. It has a presence in the events going on. There's also historically a casino that was in Coney Island. So as noted, it was the People's Playground, and that's where we're drawing some inspiration. On the next slide, you'll see unfortunately the dark moment that the community has a lot of destruction and deterioration, and where it was really blighted. And this was a moment where a lot of that monumental character is no longer existing. On the next slide, you can see it in today that this is rebounding. It is a community of resiliency. So you can see the activation that is going on today with the amusements, with the character and the threat of the community, with the representation of various establishments, and things like the aquarium and the theater and the stadium that are really drawing folks from all around the world. So on the next slide, our task is to really continue in that hard work and to continue that vibrancy and to restore the historic Coney Island waterfront today. On the next slide, we really are drawing upon the inspiration of the current vibrancy that we see throughout those 3 months of the year where Coney Island is very active. And then also the monumental character and giving this an ongoing presence with some architecture as well. So these are some of the images that we were drawing upon. Taking a look at the next slide, we want to highlight the key drivers that we've been focusing on for the project. It is to create a year-round destination, to really, as part of that destination and allowing for that vibrancy year-round, to generate careers that support that growth. We understand the importance of doing this responsibly and focusing on resiliency efforts and sustainability in the project development, and all of this to culminate in serving as a gateway for the entire district and understand the central location and the key place that this is anchoring. The next slide, you'll see the image of the existing entertainment district, and you can see some of the color and the vibrancy of the rides and the streetscape. On the next slide, what we're really trying to do is enhance that, right? And you can see what we're proposing as the project program. Listed on the screen are all of the different program aspects. We can go into a lot more detail if there are questions about all of the program here, but they're a great synergy that helps support one another and aim to reach those project goals.
Just going to the next slide, we want to take a look at why we're here, which is the mapping application. So if we can go to the next slide, we just want to take you through what has already been done in the area. So if you take a look at the red and the pink, which is on the left-hand side, West 15th Street, the red street, and then in the middle, Stillwell Avenue, and then on the right, West 12th Street, and then in the pink, which goes across from left to right, is Wonder Wheel Way. That has already been demapped, and you can see within that area are the existing amusements that will remain. In the yellow, which you will see is kind of in the air, those are the volumes of air above both Stillwell Avenue to the left and then on the right, West 12th Street, that we're seeking to demap. And then in the middle on Bowery, between Stillwell Avenue and West 12th Street, is that area of Bowery that we're seeking to demap, which the applicant actually owns. On the next slide, you can actually see it in plan, so it's laid out quite clearly. And then in the next slide, you can see it actually in rendering. So you can see on the left-hand side with an A above it, that's the Stillwell Bridge, where the volume of air above Stillwell would be. And then where it says B is the West 12th Street volume of air, where the West 12th Street Bridge is located. On the next slide, we can see it in section. So this is the volume of air that in the box outlined in red that is on Stillwell Avenue. And you can see the bridge is quite smaller than the volume of air, but the volume of air is outlined in red. And then going to the next slide, you can actually see the volume of air outlined both in red and in blue. So while we were at the City Planning Commission, they asked us to make the volume of air smaller on West 12th Street. So we raised the lower limiting plane by 20 feet. And so the lower limiting plane and the actual volume of air is now the one that we're seeking is outlined in blue. So moving to the next slide, we're also seeking to raise the elevation of Stillwell Avenue between Surf Avenue and Wonder Wheel Way. We're only seeking to raise it about 1/4 of an inch to 2 feet. And that's just for some flood mitigation in the area because we're building our building above the flood elevation, so it will allow the street to actually meet the building needs. And then just moving forward on the next slide, we wanted to talk a bit about the public experience and what they see and the community benefits that this project will bring. So I am going to turn it back over to Sarah.
Thanks, Jody. So on the next slide, we just want to give you some images about what the public experience might be. Of course, landing at the subway stop at the Stillwell Surf intersection. This is at the platform where you can see this gateway that really drawing folks towards the amusements and towards the boardwalk. On the next slide, this is to just understand that gesture that we're really seeking to make a monumental entrance and a gateway into this community. So you can see the historic reference and then our proposed new project to the left. Next, you'll see kind of an overall rendering again. And this is looking from the boardwalk or the south towards the project. Through the center there, you can see where we're proposing the improvements to Stillwell and making that a pedestrianized area, really to allow for more space that are free of any vehicular access to pedestrians that get from Surf all the way to the areas that are currently demapped and into the boardwalk. Further enhancing that is an access up to open roof space that you can see here in the green line that takes you up from the street level, completely all outside of the casino, up to an open roof space that's available for the public to use. On the next slide, you'll have a closer look of what that's proposed. It's an area that's open to the public, full of landscape, vibrancy, and a space for the community to really have access for public art and so forth. So to kind of continue on the benefits for the community, the next slide starts to outline some of those.
Thank you. Thank you. I'd also like to reiterate my thank you to both Chairs Brennan and Riley and the council members that are in attendance, Salam, Carr, and Abreu. This point, just the direct some of the direct benefits to the community are a $200 million community trust fund, which has a board of directors, which will have a board of directors comprised of community leaders, stakeholders, to guide the funding decisions for the local benefits. We've also partnered with Brooklyn Org, which is a nonprofit that does these disbursements and has a long history throughout the city, but certainly with the Brooklyn Chamber and the Brooklyn Borough President, it has a really rich history of making sure that these allocations meet the needs of the community. Community grants, boardwalk improvements, neighborhood safety and security, creation of new open spaces, or improve the existing spaces, workforce development, resiliency and environmental protection, and public art. We've also had the pleasure of, over 2 years, getting the buy-in and partnership with colleges in the immediate area and in the borough, and with schools to provide training programs, high schools as well. The jobs, we've gone over this several times, but I think it's important to note that there are 4,500 union construction jobs and 4,000 permanent gaming and hospitality union jobs with a local hiring preference. We've already scheduled and have had meetings with local NYCHA presidents to talk about job fairs in those areas to ensure that people in the immediate area have access to those jobs. Other improvements that haven't much been talked about but are long-term components to the resiliency of the area are flood resiliency at Stillwell Avenue, 1 acre of rooftop open space for public use, accessible from street level so you don't have to go through the casino to use that public space. Increased lighting and surveillance for safety, and convention space for community events.
That's great. On the next slide. I just wanted to walk you through the vehicular circulation slide a little bit. So as we've talked about, Stillwell Avenue is going to be completely pedestrianized, and that process has actually been completed already with our environmental application. So because Stillwell Avenue, which is a 100-foot wide street, has been pedestrianized through this process, cars are going to be coming in along Surf Avenue either way, and they're going to come down on this orange, if you can tell, the orange and pink lines, which are on West 12th Street towards the right of the screen. They'll come in and they'll go through the porte cochere or the circle. They'll either drop off in a valet or they'll self-park themselves, and they'll go into the parking lot, which is located within the project itself. When people go to pick up their cars, they'll go within the parking garage within the project, and they'll pick up their cars. They'll actually drive through the Stillwell Avenue Bridge, and they'll come out on West 15th Street, which is on the left-hand side of the screen, never crossing on the ground floor of Stillwell Avenue, so the pedestrians and the vehicles never have a conflict. So they'll go up in the air and over and out on 15th Street back onto Surf Avenue. Buses will also be coming in through West 15th Street. There's a bus lobby. People who exit and enter in the bus lobby, they can go right into the project, or they can go right into towards the boardwalk. Tenants who have either rides or need access to their booths within the entertainment district, they can go through, as they always have, on West 12th or West 15th Street through the lighter blue line. And then emergency access can be provided along Stillwell Avenue, which is pedestrian, but obviously emergency vehicles can access it, as well as on Jones Walk, West 12th Street, West 15th Street. And so there's really access for everyone in this vehicular access plan. Next slide, please.
Wait, before you go forward,
Oh,
Jody, I think it's
yes.
important to note as a community benefit also, those people who are from Coney Island, who have traveled to Coney Island, know that the parking is absolutely horrible. We've had preliminary conversations with local small businesses for them to be able to use the public parking space in a way almost as a, not as a valet, but as a, how do we describe that?
Well, they can get validated.
Yes,
potentially.
they can actually, if you're dining in IHOP or using any of the local public restaurants, which suffer tremendously, as we've been told, from the ability to access their customers because of parking, they would be able to do that in the facility.
So, and there's 1,500 parking spaces, so there will be plenty of parking provided within the project. But some of the proposed transit improvements, we are, as Councilman Brannan certainly knows, we are seeking and we are continuing to advocate for a ferry service with our local elected officials. We are also advocating for express subway service, which used to exist in the area. We're going to be providing shuttle service from major downtown hubs, such as the downtown Brooklyn, downtown Manhattan, Flushing, Queens, and airports. We'll be providing employee incentives so that employees do not take their own vehicles, but use public transportation to get to work. We will also be providing off-site improvements, such as providing signage from the Belt Parkway and other local intersections to disperse traffic throughout the neighborhood. We'll be providing signal timing changes and actuation and creating new turning lanes. We'll be providing pedestrian safety improvements. We will also be adding a traffic lane with the applicant's own property on West 12th Street. So instead of having the 3 lanes that exist today, it will become a 4-lane street by using some of the applicant's property to create a 4th lane on West 12th Street to allow more traffic to come into that street. We'll be providing traffic attendants to assist with the traffic flow to make sure that it flows smoothly on and off of Surf Avenue. We're also providing a 100-foot pedestrian throughway on Surf Avenue, which is right across from Stillwell subway station, which is a very heavily utilized subway station, especially during the summer months. So that will be a huge benefit to the area and a gateway into the Coney Island Entertainment District, especially to the boardwalk and to the beach. And we are providing, as well as the 1-acre open rooftop space, which will be a benefit to all pedestrians that enter into the area. And then next slide. And then that is the end of our presentation, and we are happy to take any questions that you might have.
You ask something. All right. Thank you so much. I'm going to ask a few questions that I'm going to turn over to Councilmember Brandon to ask his questions. What will happen at the development site if the Coney Development Project does not receive one of the 3 downstate gaming licenses?
There is no plan at this time for anything to happen at the site, meaning that the actions that's before you will not take place. And
If this land use action is approved, what is the immediate next step for this proposal in your team?
if this land use action is approved, we'll go through the CAC process. And we'll continue to submit our supplemental application because the land use action is required for the supplemental application with the state, and we hope to be chosen for a casino license.
And we'll continue to outreach to the community to get their input.
Given Coney Island's vulnerability to flooding and climate events, how is this proposal being designed to improve local infrastructure and increase neighborhood resiliency?
So we are taking measures to offer this facility as a resilience hub. There are a lot of venues that offer that type of flexibility, such as the multi-use venue at the top that could be used for community outreach as a safe place for meeting in the event of an incident with the climate. There's a number of different actions that we're looking at that would offer for that resiliency hub within the facility.
So I know a lot of community concern tends to raise concerns about casinos in general when it comes to crime, addiction, and other negative secondary effects, especially within the area that you guys are planning to build this casino. A lot of families in the area, so there's a lot of concern from the community. What specific initiatives or investments are proposed here in regards to those concerns by the community for prevention and public safety?
Well, clearly lighting, any crime prevention professional will tell you that where there's more lighting and more activity, it actually decreases crime, not increases crime. So we've actually consulted with some of the top law enforcement professionals in the city and have gotten and doubled down on the fact that actually what happens in a situation like this is crime actually decreases. Like I said, because of lighting, because of activity, it is less likely to have more crime. That's documented.
Is there anything else that you guys are projecting?
We will have space for NYPD, FDNY, and EMS on site. And then we will be having all the programs that any of the partners have for their casinos, supports for all help that's needed for any assistance for any addictions that would be provided. And I think that's a big part of their programs in all their facilities. And we have one of the biggest casino operators in the country, so this is a big part of their program and safety of the customers.
I do believe that these are great additions to address public safety, but I do believe that there's so much more that you guys could do, specifically in this area if you are going to be the ones obtaining this license. So I would insist, and I know the former council member mentioned that you're going to be connecting with the community a little bit more, but I'm pretty sure light and NYPD presence are really good, but there are so much other things that could be added to this to address those concerns for the community.
We're really open to having those discussions
Thank
and
you.
continuing that.
What are the anticipated impacts of the proposal on existing small businesses in the surrounding area?
I'm sorry, can you repeat that? Sorry.
What are the anticipated impacts of the proposal on existing small businesses in the surrounding area?
Robert, do you want to take that?
Yeah, so we anticipate that those impacts will be improved. One, because we've already stated how to provide parking for customers at local businesses, but also we're prepared to drive customers out into the community with incentives as well. So we know that characteristically, it's been stated that people insulate themselves in these kind of developments. We're prepared and ready and are coming up with strategic and plans to drive customers of the Coney back into the community with incentives.
Thank you. I'm going to yield to Councilmember Brandon to ask his lines of questioning.
Thank you, Chair. I had one first question. The on-site improvements with adding the traffic lane on West 12th, do you have renderings of that?
Yes.
Do you have it with you?
Yes.
Is it in the package?
Yeah, I think probably the best, Arthur, maybe the vehicular circulation. It's a little hard to see, but on the vehicular circulation, page 26,
Yeah.
you can see a fourth lane. There's 3 lanes on the right side of the pink arrow is a fourth lane.
Okay. I'd like to if you could do an actual rendering of that. I'd like to see it. It's hard to visualize.
No problem.
Can you tell us to date how much money have you invested in the community, and in terms of talk a little bit about how the team is engaged with local residents and community stakeholders, and thus far have any changes been made to the proposal in response to feedback that you've heard?
You can speak to the changes, but I don't have a number, a monetary number, but I can tell you that we've been for the last 2 years instituting the programs that the community has demanded, and those have primarily been for young people and for seniors. So when asked over these 2 years how they'd like to see, what improvements they'd like to see prior to the RFA, it has been programs for young people And we've spent summer after summer and some winters instituting programs primarily around sports, right? Because anybody who knows Coney Island knows that it's a sports hub and has been, especially for basketball and volleyball and baseball. We've actually listened to the community and only did and instituted programs that the community demanded over this 2-year, 3-year period. If you'd like me to get back to you, Councilmember, on an actual number, I can give
that would be
you an
helpful.
actual number.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Could you talk
But I can tell you that it's significant.
Can you talk to some of the changes that have been made based on the feedback you've heard over the past 2 years?
Yeah, so with regard to some of the changes, we have been working with, I would say, we've been listening to the community as well as city agencies for 2 years. We have had many, I know Sarah has worked on all of them, iterations of this plan. I believe you've seen some of them where, we've had 2 hotel towers, we've had 1 hotel tower, we've had hotel towers on one side and other sides. We've had many iterations, and we've had parking, we've had less parking, we've had more parking, we've had bridges that had no vehicles going over them. We've had vehicles going throughout the site. So there have been many iterations. We're happy to share the plans with you of those iterations, but it's been quite a lot. We've spent a lot of time with many different versions of this project to get to where we are, especially as I'm sure you know, working with DOT to get to a place where, everything works between the pedestrians and the vehicles and for the community and the views in particular.
I think it's also important to note that we've listened to the community and the small businesses who operate those 3 months out of the year and have provided, based on their campus, the ability for them to be incorporated going forward to operate 12 months out of the year. So if you look at, the design, the casino is not on the first floor. For 2 reasons primarily. One is we don't want young people to be able to walk in off the street, so as a security measure, but also we'd like that first floor to be able to incorporate those businesses who only find themselves able to operate if they would like to be incorporated in the project. And I think we arrived at that after constant conversations with those attractions operators and with the community, wanting to make sure that there was some authenticity in the project by allowing them to be incorporated if they saw fit.
It's a very outwardly facing project with retail surrounding pretty much every side of the project to try and bring people through the project to the entertainment district and to the beach and boardwalk.
So with your immediate neighbors there, the Cyclone, the Wonder Wheel, and Coney Island USA, the sideshow, are they all supportive of the casino?
Do you want to?
No, everybody hasn't been supportive of the project. But
Do you
when
want to-
you think about the holistic way that casinos operate these days, and you have to your left the aquarium, and to your right the stadium, it's actually becoming incredibly more family friendly as a venue. Right, and so we're talking primarily about the casino, but there's also 500 Key Hotel. There's also a world-class entertainment venue that's incorporated in the project. So the casino is a portion of it, and you can't get around to speaking about it. But incorporating into the fabric of Coney Island, where you have the ballpark and the aquarium, that's much more family friendly. All of these other rides and attractions makes it actually an
Do
entertainment
the
destination.
aquarium and the Cyclone folks support it?
Yes.
Peter,
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Peter McEnany would
Yep.
like to
No,
say.
I would say the aquarium is supportive. We've met many times with our neighbors, Justin, as you know. And we're working hard to.
Sorry, real quick. Everyone, we're going to get your time to give your testimony. We're just going to have them testify. If you want to do a rebuttal, do it during your testimony, please, okay? Thank you so much. Councilman Brandon?
Yeah, I would just say, as it relates to our direct neighbors, we've spent a lot of time over the last 2 years, as Jody and Sarah mentioned, trying to iterate the plan to accommodate them and make them happy and to create a year-round destination. So, our commitment is to continue that conversation through the CAC process and try and make changes and things that would bring them in support of the project.
So you're actively still trying?
Absolutely.
Okay. And let's talk about your specific commitments regarding local hiring, both for the construction phase and for permanent jobs. Coney Island is seeing a lot of development right now, housing, which we're happy about, but a lot of those jobs do not go to local folks. So what is your commitment to ensuring that if this were to pass and go through, that the opportunities would actually reach Coney Island residents first?
Yeah, no, you want to go?
Well, our partnership with organizations like the Regional Alliance for Small Contractors, who's done tremendous work around the airports and incorporating local residents from the airport. So we're not doing this on our own. We've gone and got and partnered with the best and the brightest around hires and workforce development to ensure that the local residents, specifically NYCHA, are included in the project, job-wise.
I would say in addition, we've partnered with local community colleges, and the goal is here, both on the construction union jobs, right? Getting tradesmen the training they need and having small subcontractors that are able to be bonded so they can do large-scale projects. We partner with the K-Mike group to create a framework and a plan for how you kind of get small subcontractors capacity and bonding capacity so that they can do larger scale projects. And our goal is to meet and exceed the state mandated goals for MWB participation on the construction. And then what's more important is the career opportunities, right, in the facility, both hotel, security, gaming related, F&B related opportunities. And a big focus for us is like the biggest need in Coney Island today is the NYCHA housing that's there. And how do you penetrate that? And that's not something that anybody's been able to solve over however many years. But creating programs and partnering with local stakeholders to create those programs is something that we're ambitiously trying to accomplish.
You know, it's very difficult to go into detail here because this is a very competitive process. And so while we're submitting what our plans are, there are people watching who are also submitting plans. So I would and the team would love to go as deeply as possible on what we've done, but this is a very competitive process.
When would we see, I mean, just being honest, $200 million is peanuts to how much money you guys would stand to make. When will we see the full community benefit plan?
That will all be part of the state application. Absolutely.
Okay. Because I don't see any. I mean, I would at least need to see actual dollar signs put next to investments in NYCHA repairs, actual dollar signs next to money for gambling addiction. Like this is not going to cut it.
No, we appreciate the feedback and we look forward to working with you guys through the CAC process in meeting those needs.
And can you? I guess the biggest changes I've seen, aside from the towers, you know, and moving them or whatever it may be, but the biggest change I've seen in response to feedback has been how the proposal will handle an increase in traffic. Because right now, basically, West 16th Street is basically how you get into Coney Island, and it's a private street, right? Has that been the biggest area where you've made changes to the proposal?
Yeah,
We have our environmental engineer, traffic engineer from Sam Schwartz, 2 Island, COVID sex.
Yeah, changes to access have been substantial, especially over and around Stillwell Avenue, so that I think that was one of the initial iterations in the changes to the site plan to avoid the pedestrian vehicular conflict as vehicles are entering and egressing the site. Besides that, working with the New York City DOT through the SEQA process, there were geometric improvements to Surf Avenue, 17th Street, and this was all within the constraints of what's doable right now. There are transit improvements that Jody presented, and that will have the maximum benefit in actually reducing the number of vehicles on the street. But within the existing constraints, the fact is a lot of the vehicles coming down to Coney Island is through Cropsey and therefore down to 17th Street. And there were geometric improvements done to improve safety and vehicle circulation at 17th and Surf Avenue in front of the site, and then signal changes throughout the area to improve traffic circulation.
I guess my last question would be, if you're not granted one of the licenses, how do you see the future of this site and the parcels that are currently owned? Actually, two questions, Peter. Number one would be if the demapping is denied, is there an alternative proposal where you would still go forward with the casino? And then if you don't win the license, if everything goes through but you don't win the license, what is the plan B?
Yeah, I would say the answer to the first question is no. From a synergy perspective in the campus, all 4 blocks need to be connected to create a viable development. And in terms of long-term plans, we'd have to reevaluate and reassess the situation, the economic viability of development. However, the challenges there. I mean, the seasonal nature of Coney Island makes it very hard to do anything other than temporary uses in terms of short-term leases on the site. And that's been the challenge over the years, and I don't see any economic driver that would change that anytime in the near future, candidly.
Okay, I want to move on because we've got a lot of testimony today. You good, Ken?
Okay, so
That's the
just want to recognize Councilmember Vernikov. Councilmember Vernikov?
Thank you very much, Chair Riley, Chair Brennan, and it's very nice to see a lot of familiar faces here. So, good morning. Although this casino is proposed to be constructed outside the boundaries of my district, I must make something abundantly clear. My constituents will absolutely be affected by its construction, and they have been extremely vocal about their opposition to this project. Our residents are rightfully concerned about increased crime, traffic congestion, lack of parking, plummeting property values, and other obvious quality of life issues that come with placing a 24/7 gambling hub blocks away from working class families. For those reasons, I vehemently oppose the Coney Island Casino, and I will continue to do everything in my power to ensure this plan does not move forward. As elected officials, our most basic duty is to represent our constituents. My interests do not align with the developers who hope to profit off the back of this neighborhood. We would be derelict in our duty as representatives if we let a flashy proposal move forward without answering the community's most basic concerns. Coney Island would certainly benefit from development, but the community deserves responsible development, not a casino that will change the community's character forever. I have made a commitment 2 months ago to vote yes on every casino outside my district, and I did just that yesterday when I voted in favor of a home rule message that would open the door to a casino in the Bronx. I also voted yes on a casino that will be built in Queens. This is not about ideology. This is about representing the will of my constituents. They have clearly stated that they don't want the Coney, and I will always stand with them. Thank you very much.
No clapping, please. Thank you. You guys are excused. Thank you so much. Council, are there any members of the public who wish to testify remotely or in person regarding this proposal?
Yes, Chair, we have approximately 40 in-person witnesses registered to testify with us and approximately 15 registered standing by online.
Thank you. For members of the public here to testify, please note that witnesses will generally be called up in panels of 4. If you are a member of the public signed up to testify on this proposal, please stand by when you hear your name being called and prepare to speak when I indicate that you may begin. Please also note that once all panelists in your group have completed their testimony, you will be excused as a group, and the next group of speakers will be introduced. Once removed, participants may continue to view the live stream broadcast of this hearing on the council's website. Members of the public will be given 2 minutes to speak. Please do not begin until the Sergeant at Arms has started the clock. Once you hear the clock has went off, please complete your remarks within 10 seconds, okay? Thank you. You will give 2 minutes to speak. You hear the clock go off, 10 seconds to wrap it up. Got it? All right. The following individuals who signed up to testify will come up soon. I would also like to make an announcement regarding the public testimony portion of this meeting. For the benefit of the viewing public and those who may be watching and waiting for a turn to testify remotely, we are going to first hear the testimony here in the room, and then we will start to take online testimony. At the point in time, we don't estimate getting to online testimony until approximately 2 p.m. As always, we will make every effort to hear testimony from everyone who has signed up, and we thank you for your patience and participation. And first, we are going to start with Randy Levine. If Mr. Levine is here, can you please approach the witness table? Those other ones. You may begin.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning, Mr. Chairman. Good morning, Councilman. It's great to be here with you. My name is Randy Levine. I'm the president of the New York Yankees, and I'm also a board member of Legends Hospitality, which is a partner in this venture. Let me tell you a little bit about Legends Hospitality. Legends Hospitality was started by the New York Yankees and the Dallas Cowboys about 15 years ago. And today it's one of the leading venue operators, if not the leading venue operator and hospitality company in the world. Why is that important? Because whenever we put the Yankee name to something, we insist that it's complete excellence, and we back up what we do. We got into this project. We don't know how to run casinos, and we have nothing to do with running the casinos. The partner who will run the casino is one of the experts in doing so. But we know how to manage hospitality. We know how to make big venues come alive, and we know how to do things right. And, you know, I used to be in government for a lot of years and sit in these rooms and hear, including here today, what everybody's going to do. What are we going to do? Well, the way you got to look at it is, what have you done in New York City? Have you measured up? And when you take a look at Legends' record, the answer is 100% in everything that we do. And I'm going to go through a little of it because it's going to lend, in my opinion, credibility to this. Now, I'm not here.
Thank you, Randy. Thank you. Is there any questions for this panel?
Oh, it's only 2 minutes?
Yeah, it's only 2 minutes, Randy.
Okay.
Thank you so much. We're going to move on to the next panel, which consists of Charlene Davis, Angela Kravichin, Urena McAhue, and Lucy Majuka Diaz. If you hear your name, please come up to the podium. Also, I will ask members of the public here in person that after you present your testimony and you are excused from your panel, if you are not leaving the hearing, please move the overflow room next door where this hearing is streaming. This will allow people to come into the room that have to testify still. And I will remind members of the public that they can always submit their testimony online at landusetestimony@council.nyc.gov for up to 72 hours after this public hearing. We'll begin first with Charlene Davis. Ms. Davis, can you just turn on that mic for me, please? And just put the mic down a little lower? Thank you. Sergeant's going to help you out.
Okay. Hello, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you, Ms. Davis. Go ahead.
My name is Charlene Davis, as you've been told. I live in Coney Island, and I'm very concerned about what's going on with the casino. I am not for the casino. And my reasoning being not for the casino is because I'm someone that's in a wheelchair that uses oxygen. I know what it's like when we have the 4th of July in Coney Island. I've had several people in that area have to have an emergency situation where the ambulance and the police department cannot get through. Coney Island does have 3 months in a year where it's very crowded, and they're stating that this casino is supposed to be something that's all year round. I'm afraid for myself to be able to travel in the area and stuff because anyone can rob me, take money from me. Even if I was to go to the casino and win some money, someone can follow me. It's not conducive. The transportation issue is also a problem. Also, with them talking about the money that they're supposed to be giving to the community, like Justin Brennan said, it's peanuts. When they're talking about speaking with the community in reference to getting jobs and stuff, they need to realize Coney Island is more than just the projects. I don't live in the projects, I live in a townhouse. I have a son who has been looking for a job, and a lot of times when you go online, they say that you must be a resident of Coney Island or NYCHA. We don't live in NYCHA. They need to speak with everyone. Even when I go to meetings and stuff and I go to panels and stuff, I don't see anybody on that panel or on their panel that look like me, that's in a wheelchair, that has to depend on oxygen, that has different things. When you're talking about putting people on a committee and stuff, you must represent everybody in that committee. Every time I go somewhere, it's like I said, I want to see someone on these committees that look like myself.
Thank you, Ms. Davis. Next, we're going to hear from Angela Kravechin. I'm sorry if I mispronounced your name.
Kravchenko.
Hello?
Yeah, we can hear you. Go ahead.
Good afternoon, and thank you for welcoming us today and listening. So I would like to talk about the mapping aspect of this proposal. So we've been shown that the developers is asking for 2 small parts of the street, but in reality, they're taking more than that. We don't have the map, the renderings anymore, but you will see that they essentially taking West 12th Street as the access to the parking garage. That will be no way to park the car, so it goes away from the community. They're also turning Stillwell Avenue to the pedestrian street, which is good, except that's the pedestrian street that serves as an access to the beach. Now, they have to go through the casino tunnel, so that will be access to the casino, and everybody who gets off the train, which is most of the people who come into Coney Island, they going through the casino to get to the public beach. Okay, and the third one, buses. West 15 is taken for the buses. So again, community loses there as well. What else about this casino proposal? So Coney Island is a special district. It's a historical district. Historically, nothing is built higher than parachute jump. So when you see in the picture, you see the tower sticks out as high as 2 parachute jumps stacked on top of each other. That's 42-story tall hotel. Nothing as tall as this hotel exists right now in Coney Island. It's a sand. We're a flood zone. There is a reason for it. So the third thing, so when the study was done, saying that will be gridlock, because 30,000 people every day, it's a lot of people. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Angela. Next, Urena.
Good afternoon. Thank you for having us. I was about to speak about devastating effect of this proposal, but I believe you all, committee members, city council members, so the proposal is not only flashy picture. I believe all of you read more than 100 pages environmental impact statement proposed by the same developer, not for the public, where each and every page, where each and every word and each and every comma screams disaster. Because talking about 1,500 cars parking garage, not even talking about what they wrote themselves about more than 1,000 cars that should look for parking, it's kind of bad. I'm very happy to see former Councilman Dominic Recchi, because I remember very well 2009 when he was part of Coney Island rezoning, and I stood next to him advocating for rezoning. And I remember the same tour equities promising in Rose Garden for community if this rezoning approved. Nothing was done. They don't have plan B as of now. So you represent people, and you all were elected by people to represent our interests. First, please read environmental impact study, and you would really understand what kind of disaster they want to bring to Coney Island. Second, even though it's not a licensing process, but by approving demapping, you are giving them more chance to get a license. Don't let us down. Thank you.
Lucy.
Lucy Mojica Diaz. Thank you for the opportunity for allowing me to submit my testimony. I like to speak from my heart about the demapping of building a casino in our district, which would affect our residents. I trust that the rest of my team will give you the facts about demapping, so I will focus on emotion and community impact. First, let me say, it's disgusting that they don't have a plan B. Joe Sid has been here in this community for over 20 years. I will walk with you to show you every vacant lot that he has abandoned and has not built anything. They have given to the community free turkeys. Our council members give free turkey. Thank you very much. They have given Christmas gifts. I thank you very much. But they started that 2 years ago. 2 years ago when they wanted to start this project. So again, it is disgusting that you do not have a plan B, and I have brought that to their attention over and over again. So they will leave that vacant lot abandoned, and you can't tell me you care for the community if that's what you're telling me in the same sentence. That's impossible. 30,000 people will enter our community every day. That's insane. Let's talk about housing. New York City housing people are not the only people residents there. I live there. I'm a homeowner. My taxes will be increased. Not tomorrow, not the next day, but they will be increased. We have seniors that will not be able to pay those increases. We have people that they told us to get the American dream. We're not able to get the American dream. As Councilmember Justin Brannan said the other day, people are moving out of New York. They're struggling in New York. You're going to abandon us and make us move out. Schools are failing in our district. 18-year-olds can enter those gambling. 18-year-olds can enter the casino and gamble. And what they're going to do tomorrow, if you're failing at school, they're going to mug that person that's walking down the street, and we're going to have more violence in our community. $200 million. That's a drop in the bucket. I pee that out if I had it, okay? Union jobs. Union jobs are going to be given everywhere, whatever casino is built. Let's be blunt. Low-income communities, and let's be honest, let me finish the sentence, please. Those we will not receive. I'll end it there, and I submitted my testimony online as well.
Thank you, Lucy. Just Councilman Brandon, hold on one second. Councilman Brandon.
Any of you guys on the panel could take it. I guess, is there something that if you saw in their proposal, or something that you feel is missing from their proposal, that if you saw it, whether it was more money or specific investments in something, is there something that, let me just finish, is there something that if you saw it, you would feel differently or you'd be more open to it? Whoever wants to answer.
Absolutely
Just speak
not.
on the mic, please.
Okay, absolutely not. Because it's really inappropriate to bring casino to a already crowded residential area. You know, it's already crowded, number one. And I commend you for speaking about opportunities and economic development in Coney Island. But it breaks my heart to hear that casino is the only opportunity for economic growth. Not incubators for businesses, not more schools, not trade school, not some job incubator. Casino, I'm really sorry, nothing can change this community mind, because casino and gambling facilities do not belong to residential area, especially middle and low income. Thank you.
Anyone else want to answer? They can.
I would like to say that Coney Island community has 50% of population living under $35,000 per year. It's like very low. I think it's like maybe one of the lowest. So, but that's category of people most susceptible to the gambling addiction. It's a big issue in our area. So I wouldn't support casino because of the gambling component to begin with. I don't think it's right for our community. We're residential, and we want to keep our family places. We want to keep our beach, our open streets for the communities, and we welcome any other economics opportunities, trade schools, environmental study groups, anything that could go there. Thank you.
May I respond?
Sure.
Thank you, Councilman, for allowing us to respond to your question. I don't care if they give me $1 billion, not me personally, but they give the community. Let's be realistic. They've already made it perfectly clear to you today that if they don't get this casino, they don't care about what their plan B is. $1 billion is not. It's never going to be guaranteed money. Anyone that owns a business, I don't know if any of you on the panel have owned businesses or if anyone here has owned businesses, you can never guarantee anyone that same income will be reversing over and over again. So to tell us you're giving me a one-shot deal, it clearly shows that you can, as I said, no one can guarantee that you will continue to give us resources in financial ways. Sorry. Thank you.
I would like one thing that could have been in there when they were speaking is that they could have spoke about other things that could help the community. I feel that they're being greedy because the community needs so many other things that these developers could help with getting us because they have the money to do so with. With leaving property rotting and going bad, that's showing the community right there that you don't care about us. You don't care about the community. They could reach out to you, Justin Brennan, and sit down with you because I'm quite sure a lot of your constituents has voiced their opinions about things that we need in the community that we really could use, that everyone could use, not just adults, but kids as well and young adults as well. I would like to see them be willing to develop things in the community that would help the community as a whole and for everyone.
Thank you. Thank you all very much.
Thank you.
I have a testimony as well. Should I leave it?
Thank you. The next panel I'm going to call up consists of Melissa Gladata, Julia Danley, Deborah Carter, and James Kinnard. If you hear your name, please come up to the podium. Thank you.
Sure. Where do you want me? That'd be great. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Okay. First, we're going to hear from James Kinnard.
Good morning. I see nothing but a plus here for the community. The outreach of somebody's trying to help the community to build things and to make more jobs. It's nothing but a good thing for us. I don't see where we should not grant the application. It's nothing but it's something that we need. There's a lot of grounds over there that need development, and this neighborhood can use it. Thank you. Bye.
Whoever wants to go next.
Next, Deborah.
Sorry.
You're so used to it. Next, we're going to have Deborah Carter.
Hello.
You on?
Hello. Hello, I'm Deborah Carter. I'm a resident leader of Graves and Houses, New York City Housing Authority, NYCHA. And I want to say we are the least in the community to get anything that comes into this into our community. We are the least on the totem pole. We are not called projects. We are called developments. It's a big change in our community. And I would like to say that, yes, I am for the casino. I think that we have sat down with the Coney and we have talked about bringing apprenticeship programs and talking with our community. They have been very nice to our communities. We have the opportunity to sit with them and talk with them. Now, the other ones, the other panels that was here, I didn't see them come to the board or come with us to sit down and speak. We collectively, we could have sat down and we could have talked, and we could have all talked to the community, to the Coney, and come up with great ideas. But unfortunately, we have been threatened. We have been talked about. I mean, there were so many things that have come against us because we say yes to the casino. And I will continue on saying yes to the casino. It's going to bring jobs for us. It's going to be jobs. And to sit here and say that robbery and things like that, people can go to the casino, do whatever they want to do. They have options to go in. You have an option whether you want to go gamble or you don't gamble. But it's up to you.
Thank you, Ms. Carter. Next, we're going to hear from Ronald Stewart. Oh, Ms. Carter, you can sit right there. Sorry, Ms. Carter. I'm sorry, not Ronald. Julia Danley, sorry.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Julia Danley. I'm a lifelong resident of Cary Gardens, a former resident leader. I'm an executive director to my own nonprofit organization called Gracefully Wrapped, and I'm here to say yes to the Coney. If we really look around, a lot of young people need jobs. And if you're going to be a gambler, if you're going to be an alcoholic, if you're going to do whatever, you're going to do it whether you do it in Coney Island or in Beverly Hills. Let's stop that. It's a choice. That's one. Number two, let's talk about the overhead. We've had that walkway on West A Street that was taken down. That was so nice to walk through. They could have made it over. We're going to have the opportunity to get a walk through back again. That's going to be great. Like, off the train, right into the boardwalk. You know, all of that is nice. The lights are beautiful. But the jobs, the convention center, we have an amphitheater that gives us no ample time, okay? The convention center is going to be there. Hotel, people come. Coney Island had a casino already. Like, I don't understand something that was there before. If this is the people's playground, then let's make it a real people's playground. Could never be Atlantic City. It's only one casino. We're not going to be thrown out of NYCHA development because we have a casino a few blocks away. They're not putting us out. I don't know whoever came up with that idea. I live in NYCHA. I don't want to get put out. You think I'm going to like a casino if they're going to put me out? Like, are you serious? So I've lived on both ends of the spectrum with wheelchair because I was walking until a year and a half ago, and now I'm in a wheelchair. So I've experienced both. And if they're going to rob me, they're going to rob me anyway. People do what people want to do. But the jobs are great. I talk to a lot of young people. I have a lot of young men. People don't come to these hearings because they don't want to go through the nonsense. That's what we go through. And jobs are going to be made available, and that's a good thing. That's a good thing.
Thank you, Julia. Next, we're going to hear from... Go ahead.
Melissa?
Yeah, go ahead,
Thanks.
Melissa.
Hi, I'm Melissa Gliotta, and I'm here today because I believe deeply in the future of South Brooklyn, and I believe our project has the power to truly transform the Coney Island community in a way that's long overdue and profoundly deserved. For 30 years, I've proudly been a part of the Thor Equities family, a long-term stakeholder in Coney Island. Thor has believed in this community for decades, investing here when others looked away and holding on to a vision for what this neighborhood could become. In that time, I've seen the resilience, pride, and potential of Coney Island's residents, but I've also seen the challenges, the chronic underinvestment and limited economic opportunities. What South Brooklyn needs now is a bold, lasting investment. It needs opportunity that is built to stay, to grow, and to uplift. Our development does just that. We're proposing a creation of nearly 4,500 union construction jobs and 4,000 permanent family-sustaining careers in hospitality and gaming. These aren't just jobs. They're real career pathways with strong wages, benefits, protection, and room to grow. We're prioritizing local hiring, especially for the Coney Island residents, and hosting job fairs directly in the communities that have been overlooked. We are committed to giving people a fair shot close to home, and we're equally committed to supporting small, minority, and women-owned businesses by giving them the resources that they need to thrive. In summary, with this project, we have the opportunity to revitalize Coney Island and bring year-round economic activity to a place full of history, heart, and potential. We have a once-in-a-generation chance to deliver meaningful, lasting change, and now's the time to invest where it will matter most. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. There being no questions, this panel is excused. Next, we're going to hear from Erica Yosanat, Ronald Stewart, Fanny Hernandez, and Marissa Solomon. Okay. And please remember, if you testify, can you please go over to the flow room, because we have other people that need to testify and have to come sit in this room. We'll begin first with Erica, followed by Ronald, followed by Fanny, followed by Marissa.
Which one do you press?
Jenny? I didn't call Jenny. I have a Fanny Hernandez.
One here?
It's Jenny. Oh, it's probably the way it was written. Okay, sorry, Ms. Fernandez. So we're going to have Erica, followed by Ronald, followed by Jenny, followed by Marissa. Erica?
Right here?
Yes.
Hello?
Yes. Go ahead.
Hi, good afternoon. My name is Erica Olsenet. I am a TA president of Cary Gardens. I also sit on the board of Cary Gardens Community Center and the board for FEC Center. I'm Coney Island born and raised. I'm definitely opposed to the casino. I believe it would be a burden traffic-wise. It's already congested in Coney Island from the stadium, from the amphitheater. They also moved the welfare building onto Mermaid Avenue, which even made it more congested. And when there's a game in Coney Island, it'll take you 30 minutes to get from 37th Street to West 8th Street. It's congested, and it is not a good idea. Also, I believe that the crime rate will go up. We already deal with a lot of drug issues in Coney Island. I don't believe it will be a good idea, and I definitely oppose.
Yeah, thank you for taking our messages here today. My name is Ronald Stewart. I'm a lifelong member of Coney Island. My mother and a group of other mothers fought for all the housing that you see on the Western End so we can have a decent and a safe place to live. This plan, this demapping plan, it's going to be a disaster. We already, as Erica has said, we deal with congestion all the time, not just when this thing is going to be built, but every day. In fact, yesterday I couldn't get home because there were so many cars on Neptune Avenue. So this is it's a safety issue, and that's number one for me. I don't care if they offer us $1 billion. Safety is number one, and we have to maintain that. People call Coney Island the playground of the world. The people in my end of Coney Island, we're not playing. This is not a play thing for us. We're very serious. And they are offering our young people, I talk to our young people, and I watch some of our adults. You don't talk to them. You walk by them. You're afraid of them. They look scary to you, but I talk to them. When they see me, they say, there's Brother Ron. Put your guns away. Put your dope away. They respect me. And They want jobs, of course, but you know what more that they want? They want hope. They want a sense of a future for themselves because a job is limited. And this is why we look for the city council for economic development. We look to the city council for revitalization. That's what we support the city council and vote for them. That's what we're looking for. My great-grandson just graduated from PS90 yesterday. He said, Grandpa, he called me Papa. He said, what I'm going to be doing soon. And I said, we're going to take care of you because we love you. So this is the thing that we're concerned about.
Hello. Okay. So good afternoon. My name is Jenny Hernandez. I am a longtime resident of Coney Island. Basically grew up here, grew up in Coney Island. It is my home as to many others. Today I'm here to ask the subcommittee of zoning and franchise to reject the demapping of our streets. Those streets belong to the people, not for predatory developers looking to line their pockets. Traffic is a major issue in Coney Island. How will emergency vehicles be able to enter or exit the area with the anticipated influx of over 23,000 visitors that will bring each day, right? What is now a seasonal threat will become a year-round threat. I suffer from several health conditions, and I am extremely concerned for my safety and that of my neighbors that live just as one block away from where this casino will be. This situation is the last thing we need. Our well-being should be top priority. Coney Island is not just a tourist site. It is a home to many families. We must prioritize the residents of Coney Island. Families first, children first, seniors first, and individuals with disability first. This demapping, along with the associated casino project, will only create chaos in our community. Really quick in Spanish, las calles de Coney Island son para el pueblo, no para los ricos. Thank you, and I hope my testimony will be taken seriously and considered.
Before you go, the next panel I'm going to call up consists of Donna McMahon, Joseph Packer, Camille Hastick, and Marie Merville Shahzada.
Okay.
Go ahead. That's the next panel.
Okay. Marissa Solomon, Coney Island, born and raised. We have been told that approving the demapping for the casino would just be letting the process play out for the casino license. But let's be clear, letting the process play out would mean that the developer, Joe Sitt, applies for the casino license for the property he currently owns. What you are being asked to do here today, however, is to give away, hand over for free, the public streets in Coney Island to Joe Sitt, to hand over the property that is owned by all New Yorkers so that he can replace half the current amusement area with his 40-story casino towers, taking away the streets and even the skies and sunshine from millions of everyday New Yorkers. What you are being asked to do is to expropriate and steal the value created by other existing long-term business owners and residents and put that value into the pocket of this one billionaire developer. Voting to approve the demapping would amount to a multi-million-dollar welfare payment to this multi-billionaire. Today we are submitting over 10,000 signatures on our petition against the demapping in the casino. These are people from all across Coney Island, across Brooklyn, and from every city council district in New York. Coney Island, the People's Playground, belongs to all the people of New York. It is not for the city council to just give away the public streets in Coney Island to this billionaire developer. We have been emailing and informing these thousands of New Yorkers who have signed the petition about this process and who have been voting to save Coney Island and who is voting to give it away. The members of the City Council should not give member deference on this issue. People are not going to accept the excuse of hiding behind member deference. They won't care about that. They will care and will want to know which City Council members voted to save Coney Island and who voted to give the People's Playground away. Make no mistake, Coney Island belongs to all New Yorkers. Don't erase the Coney Island that has been loved by New Yorkers for over 150 years. And in my remaining time, I live right across the street from where they want to put this. The casino developers have never once done any outreach to anybody where I live. So when they tell you that, that's a lie. They're going to people that live a mile, 2 miles away, and the people that live right across the street, they're trying to ignore us. But they're not going to be able to because we're too loud. We're from Coney Island. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Brandon.
Brother Ron, just ask a question. And you can answer, and then if anyone else wants to answer. It's the same question I asked the other panel. Are there things that you believe are missing from their proposal or things that would make you consider the proposal if you saw it, whether it was a further commitment to jobs or more money, or is there anything like that that you would say, I'm willing to listen more? Just hit your mic.
The proposal that has been presented to the community, to Coney Island, it does not efficiently and cover everything that is needed for Coney Island. You mentioned, Councilman, that $200 million is peanuts. You cannot have that. We need revitalization. As I was growing up in Coney Island, up and down Mermaid Avenue, and some of you that are sitting here, you remember when Mermaid Avenue there were stores and mom and pop businesses. These are the things that we need. We don't need a big corporation to come in that has no plan for us if they don't get it. Those are dreams. You know, I grew up and I watched all kind of developers come here and make grand promises, unfulfilled dreams for us, and have given us nothing. That's why we're here today. So there's nothing in there, Councilman, that would change anything. I think it has to come from the people. The people of Coney Island need to sit down. I think Deborah said we need to sit down, not with casino people, not with corporations, but sit down and deal with with our representatives and put together something like they did up in northern New York and White Plains and Yonkers. They put together a enterprise zone. They didn't wait for a casino. This is what we need to do. But there's nothing in there right now that can give us that kind of hope and future.
Got it.
Yeah.
Anyone else?
Yeah. So the way I would answer that question is, how much would you pay to build over Central Park and put a casino, or build over Prospect Park and put a casino? This area in Coney Island where the amusement area is, that's our Central Park. That's our open area. That's where the working people of this city go to. And when they say, oh, we need to make this a year-round destination, a year-round economy, where I live there year-round. The stores I shop in are year-round. It's not like we disappear in the wintertime. But with this casino, we might disappear because nobody's going to want to live next to this 24-hour-a-day casino. And if you put it there, the people who can afford to move will move away. The money they spend in local stores will move with them. Those stores will lay off people and they will close. And this is exactly what happened in Atlantic City. Atlantic City does not even have their own supermarket today. And we don't want that to happen in Coney Island. This is a residential area. There are businesses that have been there for decades. This has been an amusement area for 150 years. It's Coney Island. It is not Casino Island. And that is what it will become if you give away the public streets of our neighborhood.
Anyone else? Yeah.
Yes, I'd like to speak as a mother as well. I do not want a casino at close proximity of our children. My daughter, there's a school a block away from the potential casino site. So as a mother, I don't want this at all. I don't want this for my daughter. I don't want this for the children of Coney Island. I think the youth of Coney Island deserve more, and they deserve better than this casino is proposing.
For me, it's the congestion, as I spoke about before.
The traffic.
The traffic. It's too crowded. There's nowhere for them to go. When there's an event at that ballpark or the amphitheater, the traffic is from 37th all the way to it's too much.
We got 3 streets.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you.
Can I give this is our 10,000.
Give it to the sergeant.
Thank you. Next, we're going to hear from Donna McCammon, Joseph Packer, Camille Hastic, and Marie Merville Shahzada. The following panel after that will consist of Daisy O'Malley, please, Edward Mooney, Kovici Shuryanji, and Aiden Huratain. That will be the following panel. We'll begin first with Donna, followed by Joseph, followed by Camille, followed by Marie.
Just make sure your mic's
Good
on.
afternoon. Just press the, thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
It's a pleasure being here today, just to voice my opinion. My name is Donna McCammon, and I'm a proud hospitality worker and a member of the Hotel and Gaming Trade Council. I am here on behalf of my union to testify in support of Coney. This project will transform an already iconic area into a world-class casino, create opportunities for economic development, affordable housing, and high-quality hospitality job like mine. No more now ever our city and Brooklyn especially needs an economic boost. The Coney has the potential to improve the quality of life for thousands of people who lives and work in South Brooklyn. I urge you to vote yes on this application.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Joseph?
First of all, let me just say that I appreciate the Coney because Coney's has been honest brokers in this process, and productive listeners. So I just want to get that out the way. I'm gonna read my statement real quick. As a lifelong resident of Coney Island and an active community advocate for over 5 decades, I am compelled to express my enthusiastic support for the Coney project. This transformative initiative holds immense promise for our community, offering a myriad of benefits that are urgently needed. Coney Island faces significant challenges from traffic congestion during the summer months to an aging infrastructure that requires immediate attention. These issues have long hindered our community's potential for growth and prosperity. The Coney project presents a crucial opportunity to address these challenges head-on with substantial private investment. The projected billions of dollars in private funding will not only revitalize our infrastructure, including roads, our boardwalk, the bridges, subways, and ferries, but also create a wealth of job opportunities and job training programs tailored for local residents. This infusion of resources will breathe new life into our economy, providing much-needed support for our community-based organizations and enhancing social service that are vital to our residents. Furthermore, the investment in public education, which I am a teacher, after-school programs, and scholarships for college will empower our youth and prepare them for successful futures. As someone who has witnessed the struggles and aspirations of our community firsthand, I firmly believe that these investments are essential for our long-term growth and prosperity. In conclusion, the Coney Island project is not just an opportunity, but a lifeline for Coney Island. It represents a collaborative effort between private investors and our community to create substantial growth, improve quality of life, and foster a brighter future for generations to come. I urge all stakeholders to support this transformative initiative for the betterment of Coney Island, its residents, Brooklyn, New York City, and the state at large.
Good afternoon, Chair Riley and Councilmember Brandon, Corporate Counsel, and all the other members. My name is Camille Hastic, Vice President of External Affairs and Government Relations at the Brooklyn Chamber of Commerce. I am here on behalf of the Brooklyn Chamber of Commerce to provide testimony in support of the proposed project. The project will revitalize the once bustling economic engine in Brooklyn, Coney Island. It will be a 1.4 square foot entertainment complex, thoughtfully designed to echo Coney Island's historic charm, with 500 hotel rooms, 20 restaurants, a spa, fitness center, retail, recreation, and entertainment spaces. Located at the corner of Surf and Stillwell Avenues, directly across the street from the Coney Island Stillwell Avenue subway station. The Brooklyn Chamber of Commerce supports the proposed casino and entertainment complex in Coney Island. This project would guarantee significant investment in Coney Island and address things the community has been waiting for, including a year-round economy that creates not just jobs, but careers. Residents would have access to job training and access to union jobs with a living wage and benefits. This mixed-use project will not only provide for employment in gaming industry, but will, with the inclusion of a world-class hotel, an indoor entertainment venue, and additional retail, there will be multiple career opportunities for residents to access. The project itself will serve as a complement to already successful seasonal entertainment district and provide significant multiplier impact year-round. The Coney has also promised to establish a $200 million community trust that will be locally led to fund projects important to Coney Island. This project is a major game changer for Brooklyn. When we talk to our members, we hear repeatedly how important big anchor projects are to the entire local business community. Injecting thousands upon thousands of jobs and billions of dollars of investment into a community like Coney Island is exactly what we need now when the economy feels stagnant. Thank you.
Thank you. Good afternoon.
Coney Island is a neighborhood that has been overlooked and under-resourced for far too long. Our community desperately needs job training opportunities, youth and senior programs, and economic initiatives that will sustain local businesses, especially along Mermaid Avenue, where shops struggle to keep their doors open from September to May during the low peak season. Chairman, you had recently asked about improving conditions for local businesses. As a business owner and as a person who has family business on Mermaid Avenue, I can tell you, when the Boardwalk or Surf Avenue has events, we do well. So this project is a project of this scale would only multiply those opportunities for local entrepreneurs and storefronts. As an executive director of Alpha Community Services, I have personally witnessed the Coney's commitment to Coney Island. Their team has supported our organization and families we serve in countless ways, partnering with us with the Blue Bucket Trick or Treat event for children with autism, donating tablets to Cary Gardens Cornerstone, thanks to the advocacy of their former TA president, Julia Danley, supporting volleyball programs for teenage girls and older women at 288 HeartShare, backing our women empowerment initiatives, working directly with small women business owners, leaders, and advocates to help them grow and build capacity. My biggest issue with this community, that the naysayers, Coney Island is changing. There are developments building up all over Coney Island. Nobody says anything about them. And those developments have nothing to offer Coney Island. One bedroom apartment is $3,100. Do you think anyone in Coney Island can afford that? But yet none of these people are complaining about that. So, thank you.
Thank you all very much. Thank you.
We wanted questions.
I want to.
Yeah.
Joe, I want to know where you got that zip up, man. That's dope.
Next, we're going to hear from Daisy O'Malley, Edward Muni, Kovici, I'm sorry, I can't pronounce your last name, Shirin Yaniki, and Aiden Hurutian. We'll start with you, Mr. Shirayanagi.
Sure. Am I on?
Yes, you're on.
All right. So first of all, for the council member who's on the Zoom, Francesco Moya, I am an alum of working for Congressman Brad Sherman, and Francesco Moya is as well. And so, you know, it's good to be addressing a body that includes an alum from Shermania. I am a dad, and I live on West 15th and Mermaid, right a block away from the proposed site of the casino. And I want to say that what you did not hear from the casino developer's presentation is what happens to the traffic overflow. When you approve this street demapping, what happens to the traffic overflow? Where do all the cars go? Because they say in their documents that they have 1,000. They're building 1,500 parking spaces, and they're going to in times when their parking lot isn't full, they're going to give businesses an ability to use their parking lot as some kind of community benefit. What they don't say is in their presentation is that in their document they say that they're going to bring, at least at the peak time, they're going to bring 2,500 vehicles to the neighborhood. So where do the other 1,000 vehicles go? They're going to be driving around the neighborhood looking for parking, because there's no parking as it is in our neighborhood. And I'm a father. I have a 7-year-old son, and every morning at 8 o'clock in the morning, my son has to get to school. My son, I trust a contractor with the DOE to drive my son to school, and I trust a contractor of the DOE to drive my son home. And when you have a development like this that's going to bring 1,000 cars overflowing onto in front of my building, how is my son going to be able to get to school safely? That's what my question is.
Thank you. Next we'll hear from Edward. Edward Muni? Do we have an Edward Muni? Okay, next we'll hear from Daisy.
Hello?
Yes.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Yeah, hi. I'm Daisy O'Malley. I've been living here since 1977. And yeah, I know what most of you think. I don't look my age. How many of you have actually physically been to a resort out in Queens? Now, you know for a fact that you have to walk in either direction away from the casino to get to either the Burger King or the Dunkin' Donuts. As for that skywalk that's there, oh yeah. If you're coming from the train in the right direction, you get the skywalk. If you're coming from the train in the other direction, you're walking across that parking lot in all kinds of weather. So, been there, done that, which is why resorts ended up losing a comic book convention because it was too hard to get to and there was no food. And even though it was a minor convention, we still got people. They said enough's enough. We're going back to Manhattan where there's more room and about 15 trains. Speaking of trains, DNFQ are always rerouted no matter what time of year. It's going to be a miracle that we're going to have an express, quote-unquote express, into Coney Island on Mermaid Parade Day. Who got the idea that we're only 3 months a year? No, we go 24/7, 365, especially during the polar bear plunge, especially on New Year's Eve if we have fireworks, especially if the hot dog contest, the mermaid parade, you name it, we have it. Fireworks every week, every Saturday, starting like in a week and a half. We don't stop. And as far as Mermaid Avenue, walk down there now. So many places have gone out of business, including Major Meats. They were forced to give up their lease. There's nothing there. So what are we actually bringing? Because resorts is automated. You don't get blackjack dealers, you don't get pit bosses, and
Thank you,
you don't
Daisy.
get cocktail waitresses. What's
we'll-
left?
Next, we'll hear from Aiden.
Hi, Council. Good afternoon. My name is Aiden Harushian. I'm 19 years old, and I am a resident of both Brooklyn and New York City. I'd like to state very plainly, this plan is not out of the prosperity or culture for Coney Island. This is a betrayal of the community, and it's born of greed. I don't think anything else will show how vile this plan is than Thor Equities standing outside this very building this morning to show support for the development plan by paying people, but I'll try anyway. Everyone here knows that Coney Island is the beating heart of leisure and love in New York. It is a place that is woven into this city's identity since the 1900s. We are told today that this heritage will be bulldozed for the predatory silence of casinos. The developers, Thor Equities, and its constituents promise prosperity, but their vision will erase Coney Island's legacy. The Coney, which no one has been courageous enough to mention exactly by name today, is a Trojan horse. The research shows that urban casinos' economic benefits are short-lived and that social costs far outweigh tax contributions. I have to skip through a whole bunch of stuff here. I'd like to call you out specifically, Mr. Brannon, who you once stood firmly against the casino. Your constituents on Community Board 13 have already rejected it, and you are now saying you want to let this process play out. You are signaling that lobbyist whispers are more important than the community's voices. To use the People's Playground moniker when referring to our beautiful Coney Island, while these developers clearly state both your and council members Riley's names in thanks at this meeting, suggests that you believe we are stupid. We are not. We will not be gaslit by the corporate entities who intend to buy you. For the Brooklyn Borough's president's office, you cannot demand a bigger investment from a project that will be a fundamental cancer on this community's well-being. To Thor Equities and its correspondents, I'd like to firmly state that coming to this meeting without any actual data to support the monetary and social value you've brought to my community is insulting. Thank you.
Thank you. Do we have an Edward Mooney here? Or Edward? Edward? Okay.
No questions?
Thank you so much for your testimony. And I just want to state for the record, nobody on this panel is bought. This is a process, and we have to hear everybody in the community out. There are people here on both sides supporting the project and opposing the project, and we want to make sure that everyone's voices is heard.
And you can gladly roll the tape back and see that I said it was suggested, and I never said anyone actually did anything.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Thank you, Aiden.
No questions.
Next, we're going to call for Charles Safo, Angel Alvarado, Dominique Rechia, and Marion Kennedy. Oh, excuse me, former council member Dominic Rechia. Nice to meet you, sir. We'll begin with former council member Dominic Rechia. Excuse me.
You all right?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Sit down, Mr.
You may begin.
Thank you, Councilman Riley and Councilman Brandon, for the opportunity to speak today. I'm the former councilman from Coney Island. I speak to you today about the request for a map change and the opportunity we have to build an entertainment complex and district in Coney Island. Coney Island emerged as the world-renowned, one-of-a-kind amusement destination back in the mid-19th century at a time when it was the world's greatest playground with amusement, which included Luna Park, Dreamland, Steeplechase Park, and casinos, a racetrack, 6 bathhouses, carousels, business, and renting rides. In 2009, myself, as City Council member Mayor Michael Bloomberg, and the Economic Development Corporation and Borough President Marty Markowitz decided to revitalize Coney Island. The process voted on the complete, and it was completed in 2009. The process ended with rezoning of Coney Island. However, our goal was to see hotels, entertainment for one-of-a-kind, and entertainment complex to be built someday with a year-round destination. Now our dream could come true with your support for this rezoning and an opportunity to alter in dramatic, positive ways the lives of Coney Island residents, over 50,000, and millions of visitors to flock to this area, to the world's greatest playground. Coney Island, we must make it a year-round urban amusement and entertainment destination while building upon the prime beachfront. The development of the entertainment district will enhance retail opportunities and the needs for 10,000 businesses to grow. I just want to address some of the things that were said here today. First of all, people said they were talking about people only make low wages. We're going to give jobs an opportunity to local residents first to apply for those jobs. So we are addressing the opportunity to increase their pay, increase to make more money with good paying jobs with benefits. In addition, you hear them say our property values are going down, right? But then you had Lucy saying her taxes are going up. Taxes on property only go up one way, when the property values go up. So you can't have it both ways. One minute the property value is going down, next minute you testify that her taxes are going up, the property tax. Yes, because your property value is going up. That's what this is all about. Or everyone, majority of people today who testify against this in 2009 testified, picketed in front of my house against the Coney Island rezoning. But I stood up to the plate because I knew what was for the best interest of the community. And look at it today. It's growing, prospering. Millions of people are coming. There are job opportunities, and it's growing. And look at all the affordable housing. The latest affordable housing is going up over 40% affordable.
You can wrap it up, council member.
Development. I just had to address some of this. And when they talk about other properties that
Council
weren't
member,
being
you
able
can
to
wrap
do,
it up, please.
well, we had an opportunity to bring in movie and theaters and other complexes,
Thank
and the
you.
community said no, and we listened to the community.
Thank you. Mr. Kennedy.
Mr. Councilman.
Move up, Mr. Kennedy.
Thank you. Mallory Kennedy is my name. I've been a resident of Coney Island for 80 years. I have been on the local planning board, 60th Precinct Council, and a number of other organizations. I have attended meetings. I am well known in the community because of one thing. When I was out there, I treated people of all races fairly and honestly. I think it's a cheap insult to our intelligence by not thinking that Coney Island residents know what they want. We need employment. We need safe streets. We need programs for our youth. We need programs for our seniors. We need decent housing. But we all need this by going and working ourselves as one unit. It is imperative that we put forth this project of casino, and I don't like to just say casino gambling. There are hotels, that's minority contractors coming in. There is employment, that's employment for young people to get a job and a hopeful better future. And if you don't have anything else in mind, you have nothing else to go off your community. It is imperative that you vote yes for this particular project. And it's just not for casinos, it's for affordable housing, it's for entrepreneurships, it's for safer streets, and you have a precinct out here doing a hell of a job than when I grew up. Thank you for the time and pleasure of me speaking with y'all.
Angel.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Councilman Brennan, how are you, sir? Well, I'm sorry, I didn't get your name.
Riley.
Chairman Riley, how are you? I've been raised, and I was born and raised in Harlem. When I was 5 years old, the first place that my parents brought me to was Coney Island. All six of us. The first place that I visited was the Freak Show house, where they have all these crazy people's faces and all that. And I have pictures to prove it. 5 years old, I was underneath one of those pictures, all my family. And I never stopped coming here. I like it for a reason that a lot of people say the negatives, but what about the positives about Coney Island? Why do you keep coming here? And when they put that casino up, which we will, it's gonna be a lot more better, a lot of more youth will come and say, I wanna get a job, and the only place that you can get a career is in a casino. You be there forever, working. And yes, try it, you'll see. I'm retired, I retired 14 years ago, and I wish I would have kept on working, but I retired. And the thing about it is that when the casino is built, more stores, more properties will flourish, more revenue will come into the community, into Coney Island. Thank you so much.
Charles.
Good afternoon, council members. My name is Charles Safo. I'm a proud member of the Hotel and Gaming Trade Council and a resident of Brooklyn. I'm here with other members on behalf of our union to testify in support of the Coney project. The Coney is committed to giving back to the community, and this project will be a win not just for residents, but for all New Yorkers. The hotel and casino will create thousands of much-needed good-paying jobs with benefit while creating new homes. This is once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to help New Yorkers who need jobs and housing. And I urge you to vote yes. Our elders always tell us that in life, there's any advantage have a disadvantage, and any disadvantage have an advantage. So we should look about the advantage in it, and then through the good services, the council members should vote yes on this project. Of course, many will dispute about it. Some will like it, some will not like it. But we have to focus the benefit in it and let it begin so that people could get job to do. Thank you. God bless you all.
Thank you. You guys are excused. Next, we'll hear from Perla Silva, Maria Laura Hernandez, Ron Scherwager, Jennifer Thorpe Moscone. Perla Silva, Maria Laura Hernandez, Ron Scherwager, Jennifer Thorpe Moscone. The following panel will consist of Jeff Morden, Towanwi Koi, Martin Allen, Ron Greenberg. We'll begin first with Perla, followed by Maria, followed by Ron, followed by Jennifer. You may begin.
Thank you. Good afternoon. Buenas tardes, everyone. My name is Perla Silva. I work for one of the largest nonprofit organization of the state of New York, Make the Road. We have over 28,000 members in the state of New York. Majority of our membership is in Brooklyn, over 10,000. And that is one of my jobs. And then I work for another large nonprofit organization. I am the senior political coordinator for Make the Road Action. So I do a lot of the groundwork. I work very closely with the community. But I'm here today as Perla Silva, living 30 years in Brooklyn and 15 years neighbor of Coney Island. So I'm here to speak on behalf of my community, myself, and my family. Coney Island is more than just, what was that? Adult playground, some BS. And it's I would like to make it clear that as my job, I like to state that we should have access to the public, that data or some sort of survey that the first panel was discussing about that they've been doing for 2 years. How do you do the work for 2 years, but you don't have that access, that data available? You came unprepared. I know I would have been fired like yesterday, boo. So please, if they're able to give us access to that, right, put it on your website. Please let us know where we can look those numbers up and just the surveys, because that's very interesting to me. I'm going to wrap it up. I have 25 seconds, just quickly in español, because I know que Coney Island, right, también es una comunidad muy diverse. Es una comunidad latina, inmigrante, también negra, y tenemos mucha representación ahí. ¿Y quién viene a Coney Island? ¿Quién va a venir si hacen este casino? ¿Los de Manhattan? ¿Los de Pennsylvania? ¿Los de Connecticut? ¿Quién viene? Porque nosotros no vamos a ir a un casino. And then for my friend over here, she will say some words in Spanish for the 1 minute, and then I can just translate the other minute in English. Gracias.
Buenas tardes a todos. Mi nombre es María Laura Hernández. Vengo de Brighton Beach. Tengo 15 años viviendo ahí. Y vengo aquí a decir no al casino, apoyar a mis vecinos que son de Coney Island. ¿Por qué? Porque somos una familia. Coney Island fue hecho por nosotros, la comunidad que teníamos un momento para ir a ese lugar. Ahorita sigue y queremos que siga, porque están viendo que solamente queremos algo en el momento, pero esto va a traer consecuencias con el futuro. El futuro que son nuestros hijos, nuestros nietos, nuestras familias. Por eso es que estamos aquí diciendo no al casino, que pongamos en mente o pensando en nuestras familias. Pueden ser tus hijos, pueden ser los hijos y los nietos. Si nosotros no cuidamos Coney Island, que hemos vivido durante muchos años ahí, ¿quién va a venir a cuidarlo? Nadie.
Gracias, Laura. My name is Laura, Maria Laura. I have been a neighbor of Coney Island for 15 years, and I'm here to just show support for our neighbors on Coney Island. She has a large family that has been living here for a long time, and she's very vocal. She's an active member in the community, and she knows how hard it is to keep the community safe. And she said that if we don't keep our own community safe, who's going to come into Coney Island and keep it safe? Who's going to keep it safe? Who's going to clean it up? Who's going to do all of that work? We've been doing that. The family and the community members that live there have been building Coney Island, and they've been doing the work. They don't need outsiders to come in and do that work. And then just quickly from my point of view, the 4,500 work jobs that will be here, we've seen it in other casinos. We already have a casino. Like I said, I speak to over 30,000 people in months, not a year, in months. We already have a casino in Queens, and then they're not hiring local folks. They're bringing in their own employers. Gracias.
Gracias.
Oh, I think I have to.
Oh, is it on? Hi, my name is Ron Schweiger.
I'm the officially appointed historian for the Borough of Brooklyn. I've been in that position since 2002, 23 years. I'm a lifelong Brooklyn resident, and as a kid back in the 1950s, my friends and I used to ride our bicycles down the Ocean Parkway bicycle path to Coney Island, and it was great. I have been doing walking tours of Brooklyn's historic neighborhoods for over 35 years, and one of the most popular requests I get is a walking tour of Coney Island. And I bring with me vintage photographs from my personal collection, postcards, and I blow those pictures up this big to show people what it was 125 years ago and what it is today. Some of the tours that I give are not only for people from the New York City area, Brooklyn and the other boroughs, but from New Jersey, Pennsylvania, and also from Europe. I've done tours for people from the Netherlands, England, France, and Italy, and others. And when I mentioned to them in my tours the last couple of years, when the thought of a casino coming into Coney Island, they said, we don't come to New York City to go to a casino. We come to New York City to see New York City, and to come to Coney Island, which is world renowned, and to get a hot dog at Nathan's and go on the Cyclone. They do not come to spend their money at a casino when they're coming from Europe. And casinos rely on people, like in Atlantic City and Atlantic City and Las Vegas, on people coming from Europe as well. I don't think you're going to have people visiting New York City from Europe. They're going to go to the casinos in Coney Island. They will come to Coney Island for the rides, for the food, maybe a baseball game. I'll be there tonight with my wife for the baseball game. And congestion. This past Saturday, it was raining, and it was so congested on Surf Avenue to find a place to park. It was so congested. We need the parking. Thank you.
Thank you. I agree with what my colleagues who are against the casino have said, so I won't repeat it. I'm going to speak directly to the land use proposal that we're talking about today. Many of you on City Council, including Justin Brennan, talked about how important it was for you to protect the environment and make sure that our oceanfront neighborhoods are more resilient, especially given that Sandy and something like that will probably happen again. This land use proposal would allow a 40-story building, which in addition to being out of scale with the neighborhood, would add to our flooding risk. In 2023, environmental experts conducted research showing that adding tall, heavy structures to the waterfront accelerates the sinking of the land and thus the rate of flooding. We cannot allow that in our already vulnerable neighborhood. Another campaign commitment that many of you have made is to help small businesses. The Coney reps claimed that their casino would help small businesses, yet this is a casino which, with the land use change, would have sky bridges, keeping people inside the casino and off the streets away from the stores. So that will absolutely not help small businesses. And right now, there are small businesses on Bowery, the street they want to erase. What is going to happen to those businesses and the people who run them and the people who love going there? If all of your promises, all of the campaign promises that all of you have made now and over the years were true, you must vote no on this land use proposal. We want development, but not this. Thank you.
Thank you. This panel is excused. Thank you so much for your testimony. Next, we'll hear from Jeff Morton, Tawanwi Ko, Martin Allen, and Ron Greenberg. The following panel consists of Sarah Farrow, Andrea Biro, Georgina Alblaco, and Steve Rolston. We'll begin first with Jeff Morton.
Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. I'll say the panelists again: Jeff Morton, Tawani Cole, Martin Allen, and Ron Greenberg. Go ahead, Jeff.
My name is Jeffrey Morton. I'm a proud resident of Coney Island. I lived in Coney Island for over 45 years. I'm also a film director, and I have had, I won over 3 awards with my film titled Our Mother's Voices, which is currently available on Tubi. This film addresses the heartbreaking issues of mothers who have lost their children to violence. And I'm also actually working on a sequel. In addition to my work in film, I organize an event called Brothers Reaching Out Day, commonly known as Bro Day, which is dedicated to stopping the violence in our community. I have been hosting this event for over 25 years. I am here today to express my strong support for the casino project in Coney Island. I believe it will not only enhance the image of our community, but also create valuable job opportunities for our teens and residents. This initiative has the potential to play a significant role in reducing violence in Coney Island by showing our young men and women that we care and invested in their futures. I wholeheartedly believe that this project and its potential to uplift our community. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Can you please reinstate your name for the record?
My name is Martin Allen. I'm from people. I represent People for Political and Economic Empowerment. I've been a resident of Coney Island for 60 years.
Martin Allen, sir?
Martin Allen.
Okay, thank you.
My thing is that I'm so sick and tired of people talking about traffic and cars and not concerned about people's lives. I grew up in Coney Island my whole life. I went in and out of jail because there was no opportunity for people like me in Coney Island. When you lived in the bungalows in Coney Island on Surf Avenue and 29th Street and 30th Street, you went to complete hell. It turned me into a bank robber. I had to survive. And a lot of the kids out there are doing the same thing. They're either joining gangs, which I was also a gang member, you understand? You went through so many trials and tribulations that you got to eat. And if you can't eat from your mother and father, you understand, then you're going to go out and try to get something to eat. It cost me half of my life in prison. Last week 2 weeks ago, I was in your office at Coney Island, and your chief of staff told me, "Oh, well, I understand, man. I know Coney Island's not getting their fair share of jobs. You understand? But after doing all my time in prison, I came back to Coney Island. You understand? I put hundreds of people from Coney Island to work. Downtown Brooklyn, the City Point, Brooklyn Navy Yard, where they was making decent salaries. I had people working in the Brooklyn Navy Yard making $87 an hour. You understand? They didn't have the training that they needed from the time that they. What we need to do is hold the casino accountable. I'm for the casino because it brings a lot of opportunity if we keep them in check and not give the money to the wrong people. When you give $200 million, who are you going to give it to? Are you going to give it to the community? Or are you going to give it to some private person that want to call the shots? And we don't need people like that to call the shots. We need the community to get the money, you understand, so that we can have the train. That's it?
Yeah, thank you, Martin.
Damn, that was that quick.
Do we have Tawanwi Cole or Ron Greenberg? Tawanwi Cole or Ron Greenberg? Okay, you guys are excused. Next, we're going to hear from Sarah Ferrero, Andrea Biro, Georgina Al Blacko, and Steve Rolston. Excuse me if I mispronounced your name. The following panel will consist of Deanne Gorman, Stephen Dima, Angela Raniria, and Kindra Gilvery. Sarah? Do we have a Sarah on this panel? What's your name? No, you're in the following panel, Kendra. Sarah Ferrero? Andrea? Andrea, you may begin.
Good afternoon, Councilman, Chair, and Representative from Corporation Council. After listening to both sides of the arguments and pleadings to the panel, I'm actually slightly distressed regarding what's happening.
Are you talking to the mic? please. Thank you.
Sorry. I'm going to go under the assumption and presumption that pretty much everybody has an oath of office and understands what that is and is filed with the city clerk with their $9 fee. However, after listening to everything else, I've come to the conclusion that it doesn't matter whether you have an oath or not, because at this point, we're not a municipality anymore. We're a subsidiary. And our representatives are shareholders. And we're pretty much watching Dodge versus Ford in action. And that's disturbing. Because if our panel and our representatives and our public officials actually adhere to the oath of office, we would not be needing to see how many people on each side had a comment. As long as one person was being harmed or one person did not consent, that would be enough for the panel to say, nope, not going forward, we need to revisit this. We shouldn't have hours on testimony and making it seem like we're battling in a democracy when your oath of office adheres to a separate form of government. So, once again, we don't have a municipality. We have a subsidiary ever since the state incorporated us. And the more and more the state tells us, New York City, how they're supposed to run, the less and less we are actually a true municipality, which is a self-governing body. We cave every time the state says jump. That's not a municipality. It's a subsidiary. They're the parent company. So what's the point of even listening to the public besides checking off the boxes that we have open meetings and Corporation Counsel then can adhere to their duty to make sure everything is in check?
Thank you, Andrea. Next we'll hear Steve.
Thank you. I'm Steve Ralston from Baldwin, New York. That's in Long Island, where we've been fighting the Sands Casino, trying the same thing on Long Island that you're facing in Coney Island, and I felt it was important to be here. Casinos were prohibited in New York State until 2013 when Governor Andrew Cuomo allowed them into struggling upstate counties to find revenue. Those casinos have not fared well. On October 24, 2013, a New York Times editorial warned of the long-term negative effects of casinos, what they have on the surrounding area and the local economy. 10 years later, studies by the Illinois Law Review and other interest groups, there it is, indicate no better prognosis regarding the presence of a casino, especially in a residential community. Economists note the low-paying jobs actually hurt local economies. The national group Stop Predatory Gambling reminds us that a casino is the only business enterprise to have an adversarial relationship with their customers. Every other business we know offers goods or services in return for payment. Casinos and gambling in general are so seductive, they know addiction occurs. So much so that they are required to add warnings and helpline phone numbers at the end of each ad. I didn't realize I was against casinos until March 2023, when I read the words of Pastor Arthur Mackey in Roosevelt. He wrote of the damage done to people of color in his community, in our communities, when a casino is so readily accessible. A study by the Institute of American Values notes, communities within 10 miles of a casino exhibit double the rate of problem gambling. Unsurprisingly, such communities also suffer high rates of home foreclosure and other forms of economic distress and domestic violence. So I ask all of you Democrats and Republicans, please come together today and say no to the short-sighted and destructive idea that casinos fix anything. They never do.
Hi, I'm Georgiana Aldaco. I live in Brooklyn, but I grew up in Texas, and I've seen firsthand how a casino moving in can just wreck a community. In the mid-'90s, a casino moved into my neighborhood in Texas where I lived with my parents. They promised a lot of things. They promised jobs. They promised money for the community, programs for the community. What actually happened was the traffic got bad. Any piece of land that in the vicinity got eaten up for stuff for the casino, either parking or stuff for them. The schools closed down. My elementary school closed down. The preschool closed down. The middle school closed down because nobody wanted to live in the casino, in the area where the casino was. Young families didn't move in. The only people that stayed were people that could not leave, and they couldn't, their lives got worse. There's always traffic. There's always crime. It destroyed the fabric of the community. And this was in an area that was a historic community. It's an area where that was known for the Mission Trail. There was a mission there that was built in the 1600s. We used to go to it in elementary school, walking to it when I was in second grade. Once the casino came in, it got walled up by the casino, and good luck getting in there to see it. That's the kind of thing that's going to happen to anything that's at Coney Island. Just the casino will build around it and block off anybody from getting to the stuff that they wanted to see at Coney Island in the first place. I think the casino builders are going to promise a lot to you. They're going to deliver on some of it, possibly while they need you. But they're also going to create several other problems that they'll never fix, and they're just going to, just come in and do what they want to the community and destroy essentially everything that's already there. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions, Councilwoman? This panel's excused. Thank you so much. I'm sorry, I was supposed to call Harry Owens. Is there Harry Owens here? Oh, okay. We'll have Harry Owens, then following Harry Owens, then we'll have Deanne Gorman, Stephen Dima, Angela Ranieri, and Kendra Gilavari. Sorry, Kendra. Harry, you may begin as soon as the Sergeant at Arms starts the clock. You may begin.
Harry,
Harry, if you could just press the button. Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Harry Owens. I am a lifelong resident of Coney Island. I'm 41 years old. I've been living at 2949 West 23rd Street for 40 years. Personally, I think that the casino will be a good thing. And the reason why I think that the casino will be a good thing, because like I said, I've been living in Coney Island for 40 years. I know the people of Coney Island. I know what people in Coney Island need. We need jobs. We need opportunities. The building of the casino itself will open up so many construction jobs for all of the young men in Coney Island that are currently getting their OSHA certifications, their SST certifications, their flagging certifications. This is something that the community needs, whether they realize it or not. I understand why people are opposed to the casino. They feel like the casino could bring an element of crime and things of that nature. But I got news for you. That element already exists inside of Coney Island. You understand? People are getting killed every day in Coney Island because they have nothing better to do. We need to give these people opportunities. If the casino is going to come and give people opportunities, give people jobs, give people a better way of living, I'm not opposed to that. We talk about the traffic. It's horrible getting out of Coney Island on the weekend. It takes 3 hours to get from 30th Street to Cropsey Avenue because it's baseball games. It's stuff going on at the art wall. It's stuff going on at the amusement parks. The traffic is going to be there regardless. And yes, the amusement park is a wonderful place. They provide opportunities and jobs for people. But let's be honest, those jobs last 4 months. It's 12 months in a year. What happens with the other 8 months? How are these people supposed to feed themselves? How are they supposed to take care of their families? How are they supposed to take care of their children?
Thank you, Harry.
You're welcome.
Next, we have an update. We'll beginning online testimony roughly around 1:45. We're going to go next to Deanne, Stefan, Angela, and Kendra. Following them, we have Matt McGlade, Cherry Durndon, Sheila Britton, and Linda Harrison. And also... Where? Oh, she's here? Do we have Sarah Ferreira? Sarah, you here? Ferraro? It's all right. You could come up. You could just sit in the seat right there. You'll go in this panel as well. Yes. Okay. First, we'll begin with Deanne.
Hi.
Hey.
I left my glasses a long way away, so...
You want to borrow mine?
No, they're prescriptions, so I'm going to do my best here.
How you know
New York-
mine's not prescription?
So, Deanne Gorman, New York City licensed sightseeing guide, and I'm a member of communities, organizations in all 5 boroughs of New York City. And for years, I've attended or walked in the Mermaid Parade, ridden the rides, seen the shows, taken walking tours, shopped the small stores, enjoyed the beach at, and been enchanted by Coney Island. I also saw Superstorm Sandy devastate the area. Without power and hot water for almost 2 weeks, my boyfriend's building's lobby flooded to the ceiling as the sea rushed up Ocean Parkway, which was left smelly and strewn with ruined cars in the aftermath. So I also echo the environmental concerns of this project. As developers take advantage of this special place, I'm appalled at claims that a proposed casino would be beneficial when these plans are actually short-sighted and put private profits ahead of the public good. Despite what developers say, economic research counters that casinos aren't the jobs drivers they claim to be. Thousands of construction jobs end once the casino is built, and permanent jobs are often low-paying and can be unfulfilling to some, as they're based on collecting losses from customers. Las Vegas being an exception, research also indicates casinos don't add to the economy of a city. In fact, in recessionary times, they subtract from it. Revenue going into casinos, by and large, comes locally, so doesn't benefit local businesses. It takes away from them, and the money casinos depend on comes primarily from people who are addicted. Casino bidders say they will drive tourism and spending in communities, but casinos are designed to keep customers spending money for as long as possible inside, dissuading guests from leaving and spending money at nearby entertainment and businesses. As legalized gambling explodes across the globe, leaving behind ruined lives, broken families, financial hardships, reports state it should be declared a national health emergency. Residents and the integrity of this iconic neighborhood should be
Start
protected.
wrapping up. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next, we'll hear from Stefan.
Thank you. Hi, my name is Stephen Dima. Thank you for the opportunity to speak today. I come before you as a born and bred Brooklynite and New Yorker who deeply values the layered, complex, and vibrant life of this city, and as someone who believes that our shared public spaces must serve people, not just profit. Cities thrive when streets are alive with diversity, creativity, and human energy, and when they reflect the labor, culture, and care of the communities that inhabit them. This is especially true of Coney Island, one of New York's most iconic, democratic public spaces. That's why I and so many others stand in strong opposition to the proposed casino project in Coney Island. We all know Coney Island is no stranger to spectacle or reinvention, but its enduring magic has never relied on exclusionary luxury or industries that extract from the community instead of giving back. It has been and must remain a place of accessible joy, where working-class families, immigrants, and everyday New Yorkers can experience wonder, leisure, and belonging. Introducing a casino into this delicate civic ecosystem is not revitalization, it's an erasure. It threatens to displace local businesses, raise rents, increase crime, and drain economic life from the neighborhood. We've seen this pattern repeat in other cities where casino developments make big promises and leave behind deep inequality and disconnection. In Coney Island, a neighborhood with a long tradition of artistic expression, immigrant resilience, and grassroots culture, this would be nothing short of cultural vandalism. New York doesn't need another speculative real estate scheme dressed up as an economic development. What we need are investments that truly serve the public: affordable housing, cultural and recreational spaces, youth programs, and infrastructure that uplifts the people who already live there and work there. And beyond the physical consequences, we must continue to be honest about the social impact. The casino industry profits by targeting the most vulnerable among us, those struggling financially, those seeking hope in the face of hardship. That is not an economic opportunity. That is exploitation. I'd like to say to everyone on both sides, for and against, to remember we now live... Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
You could finish your thought.
There's a lot of anger on both sides, and I just want to say that when we divide, those in power conquer, and never in the best interest of anyone but themselves. Thank you.
Best message today. Thank you so much for that. Go ahead. Kendra?
Hello, thank you, Council, for letting me speak.
I have lived in Brooklyn for almost a decade now and have worked in Coney Island for over half that time. I grew up in the western part of America where casinos are more plentiful. My mother worked on a casino for the Swinomish Reservation outside of Anacortes, Washington, and her family lived in Montana where gambling is pretty much everywhere. You walk into a gas station, there's going to be a slot machine. I grew up in casinos. I sat in lobbies with other children waiting for adults to stop gambling. I sat in restaurants picking at cold fries, waiting for my grandmother to give up on the slot machine. And I understood, even at 8 years old, that she was doing it because casinos and gambling offer hope. They offer hope to impoverished communities that they often do not deliver on. I've seen countless relatives and members of other communities destroy their lives through gambling, not because of the choice that they made to begin gambling, but because they thought, perhaps I can do something better for my family. I can provide for them. I can give my children Christmas. Sometimes that gambling paid off. Other times it did not. I recently got back from a tour for working in Vegas. I got to speak at a convention to people from all over the country. Every single one of them asked, what's the deal with that casino going on in Coney? They're not really getting rid of Coney Island, are they? A casino is not the thing that will bring people to the People's Playground. People want the history. They want to ride the Wonder Wheel. They want to sit on the beaches. They want to eat a Nathan's hot dog. And I understand that Coney Island does need jobs. It needs more grocery stores. It needs better housing. It needs better infrastructure. But a casino is not designed for communities. They even said, the board that came to speak for the casino and to describe everything said, we are putting all security in place for our customers, not for the community.
Thank you. Next we hear from Sarah.
Hi, I'm Sora Ferraro. I'm a senior in high school going into college, and some of my best memories come from the days that I spent at Coney Island with my friends and family. I'm worried that if we turn it into just another casino, future generations won't have those kinds of memories, and they'll just have another building that looks like it can be anywhere. I work a lot with children, and it stings me that Coney Island can turn into a place that can give them that won't give them the same joy that I was able to experience as a child. There's also something about the feel of Coney Island, like this face that I'm wearing, the steeplechase face. It's stuck with me for so long, ever since I was a kid, and it's just so impactful. And a casino is not this. This is never gonna be replaced by a casino. And let's just be for real, casinos are dead. Online gambling has taken over. Casinos will never do well. Atlantic City is not doing well at all. And sorry, I'm getting emotional. This means a lot to me. I don't really testify for a lot of these things, but this is really important to me. And it's not just a place for entertainment. It's a place of history. It holds so many memories. You can see in the buildings. It's starting to decay, and that's just the beauty in it. Casinos will be fresh, new, modern. That's not what we need in New York City. That's not what New York City is. Thank you.
Angela. Thank you, Sarah.
Hi, my name's Angela Ranieri, and I'm a small business owner, and I live in Flatbush. So I know personally how terrible Thor Equity really is. They have claimed that they're trying to invest in the community. They have not. They've literally bought in all the property and drove all the small businesses out. You keep saying you want small businesses and opportunities. It's Thor Equity that has created this problem, and now they're trying to come in the last minute and be your savior, and they want you to thank them. And I'm going off script. But just they want you to thank them for saving the problem that they created. I agree we need more businesses and everything in Coney Island. I love Coney Island. It is a magical, wonderful land, and this casino will destroy it. If they want to bring small businesses back, then stop letting their properties go into decay and stop upping your rent. Put a cap on what they're allowed to charge small businesses so small businesses can thrive in Coney Island. Thor Equity will never be the answer for anything. Thank you.
Thank you for your testimony, your excuse. Next, we're going to call up Matt Ugly McGlade, Cherry Durden, Sheila Britton, and Linda Harrison. First, I'm going to begin with Matt.
Yeah, hi. I'd like to thank Council for your time. As a young person, the mystery of Coney Island inspired positive thoughts of thrilling delights. Coney called me from afar, but not just me, and not only now. Hundreds of historic years of games, not gambling. Fantastic rides, not financial ruin. The Diagnostic and Statistic Manual of Mental Disorders, DSM-5, classifies gambling as an addictive disorder. I couldn't find a negative section involving boardwalks and roller coasters. Quite the opposite. They build positive pathways to our autonomic responses. Notwithstanding the loss of magical parks like Astroland, Steeplechase Park, Dreamland, something keeps New Yorkers and tourists interested in visiting year after year, surprisingly without the draw of gambling. We want to be there because of outdoor entertainment near the ocean. People are still drawn to the sights and sounds by the boardwalk. The neighborhoods nearby of families and friends, generations of families and friends coming when they are able, but staring at a giant vampiric wall of glass isn't attractive, and it won't become an attraction. It will mar the landscape, destroy the view, and bring pollution and devastation. In addition, there has been some ploy of this parking notion, which is they won't even have enough parking for their own casino patrons. And then they're going to choke out whatever emergency vehicles are trying to get to the emergency, which already can't get there in the first place. This whole idea of the jobs, these 4,000 jobs in a city of 8 million people, and they're probably going to outsource, that doesn't make any sense. The numbers don't add up. Casinos are not revitalization. I just consider... I consider that to a casino, we vote no. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Next we'll hear from Sherry. Sherry?
Hello, everyone.
Miss Sherry, can you press the button, please? Yes. There you go.
Hello, everyone. I'm a physician and a lifelong resident of Coney Island, a small business owner in a community of the hardest workers, the disenfranchised. I was here when the bungalows were here. I stayed. I'm telling you, poor people in a gambling district are the most susceptible to gambling addiction. Attracts crime and prostitution, drug dealing as a result. This is good for parents and children. The surrounding community of Atlantic City bears witness to empty promises and promised love people have believed in. Casinos do not belong in residential districts. Jobs. What jobs? To whom? What will those requirements be? Where have you been before giving jobs to those communities? Tell us of the other communities you've uplifted. I want proof. They haven't even talked to the community. People who like you want to talk to you, not through June 12th cash carrots to appear with promises of bigger carrots to come. Unions already have members. Those members get those promised jobs. They are not in your community. And I'm sure that the casino entity hasn't reached out to unions to make sure that the community becomes members of those unions, displacing the jobs that are promised to them. Someone mentioned not complaining about the high cost of housing, but complaining about the buying of Coney Island for $24 that the Native Americans believed in. I think someone hasn't been listening. If anything, this casino would displace possibilities for affordable housing. The promises are wampum. Gridlock increasing to 30,000 more a day. I can't get home when baseball season is in. And I'm 2 miles away from my home. There is no plan B if we don't acquiesce. That's a threat, and you should take it seriously because friends don't threaten you and your way of life.
Thank you, Ms. Sherry.
They aren't good.
Thank you. Next, we'll hear from Sheila, followed by Linda. No. There you go.
Okay. All right. Well, good afternoon.
afternoon.
I've lived in Coney Island for about 40 years, and we live on a peninsula, and it's very difficult during holidays, weekends, and special events, and it's almost impossible to travel through the area. Demapping would definitely be critical, cause a critical problem. If we have the casinos in place, we would have an additional 34,000 people coming in to the area, and this would cause major gridlock. Right now, NYPD and FDNY are often unable to respond to emergencies in a timely fashion. The DEIS traffic study has basically identified significant adverse issues regarding the plan. Also, as far as flooding goes, having such a large complex in the area would cause storm surges to be redirected to residential areas. I say no to this casino.
Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Linda Harrison. Good to see you, Councilman Brandon. It's been a while. I know you all are tired. You heard a lot of statistics over and over again. But I just want to point out something I think is very, very important. We're here to discuss the land use or whether or not to give a permit to Thor Equities. Let me say the last part first because I have a tendency to talk long, but I want to get this last point in. I want to challenge Thor Equities, first of all, to look at a different venture. I'm for a win-win situation. This proposition for a casino is a win-loss proposition. Win for the casino and a loss for the community. I want something that's more family-friendly, that's going to bring people out. I've stood at the subways when I come home from church or from the doctor's office or wherever, and I watch the families get off the subways and enter into Coney Island, and it brings me to tears because I see moms and dads with their kids and they're happy. Who knows what happened at home that day or that week? They're out there for fun. I see the young adults coming out to have fun and enjoy themselves. I see tourists coming out to enjoy themselves, bringing their families. I see young groups of people from schools, in colleges and outside of the community come to our neighborhood to see Coney Island. But to put a casino here would be detrimental. The economic impact would be, we would lose that. Whatever you thought you gained in the beginning, you're going to lose that. The novelty will wear off, and then after a while, the community will lose because a casino is meant to be encapsulated. It's meant to keep people inside. You're not going to go out and shop in the local businesses. The local businesses will dry up. The community will have no place to shop or buy for food, which is scarce right now. And so you're back to where you started again. As far as traffic, the human component is really, really important for me. I wake up at 6 o'clock in the morning, every morning, and my time is, every morning to sirens and emergency vehicles. I know what time it is without looking at the clock. It's 6 o'clock, the emergency vehicles are going off. Imagine year-round emergency vehicles trying to get in. The impact on lives it would be horrendous. Really, really, really consider the impact of lives. Thank you.
Thank you all very much. Okay, the next panel we have Jess Izari, Jesse Newman, Rachel Shapiro, A.M. Goodrise, and Eric Thorpe Moskin.
Good afternoon. A lot of statistics have been said today. There's been many think tanks that have done studies that casinos near communities suck out revenue from the communities. I see this proposal as a deal with the devil. It's selling out the future for a short-term fix today. I can hear a lot of the points that members of the Coney Island community have made about needing jobs. I see this as a failure of politicians to provide community centers, movie theaters, water parks, other large-scale leisure opportunities. I'm not a Luddite. I'm not against any kind of future development. But this is a short-term fix that will sell things out for the future. We all understand how these real estate developments pay themselves through shell corporations to build the casino. They have no real concern for the long-term success of the venture. Thor Equities has a track record of bankruptcies and defaulting on their properties in East Harlem, in many other locations. I see this being completely predatory, and the arguments that the lobbyists have devised, the PR teams that Thor Equities have hired have devised, are exploiting the existing fault lines within Coney Island. What really would be a better solution that people, I hope maybe this will lead to people advocating for, is tax incentives for local businesses so that people could actually create generational wealth in an organic way that will sustain. Maybe there'll be construction jobs for a few months. All the local businesses in the area will shut down from the giant pits in the ground. This won't help create generational wealth long term. It's going to put money in people's pockets. They're going to flee to their next venture. I don't know if any of you guys or any of you have spent time in Atlantic City. So maybe some state politicians made some money in the 70s in Atlantic City, but it really is a very, very hard place to walk around and see the devastation. Thank you. Yeah.
Do you want to go?
I'll go last.
Hello, my name is Rachel. I was waiting outside for 1.5 hours before I came in to speak, so I was sorry I missed so much of this. I was with somebody out there who was from Coney Island, and she couldn't stand in the sun that long, so I just wanted to say she's concerned about the traffic. She has teenagers working at Starbucks in Coney Island, and she understands the neighborhood needs jobs, but she doesn't trust the casino because you can't. I wanted to say about jobs, just one thing, that IKEA that went up in Red Hook promised jobs, and there were jobs there for a little while, and there still are some, but all of the checkouts there, a lot of checkouts that they're all replaced with automation, and the whole restaurant there that was staffed by people, all replaced with automation. And I know that's going to be harder to do at a casino, and I know that it's going to be harder to do in a hotel, but they're going to do it as soon as they can. I also wanted to say that I've lived in Brooklyn for 16 years through Sandy, which hit Coney Island hard, through COVID. I got my first COVID shot in the shadow of the Wonder Wheel. I first went to Coney Island when I was 16. Since then, I took the F train many times with my father before Parkinson's made it too difficult for him to travel. We had hot dogs, we rode the Cyclone. He told me about when he was a kid and the parachute jump was still running. I take my sister there. We walk by people dancing on the boardwalk, babies and teens and people in wheelchairs. I go there with my friends to ride the Spookorama every summer and eat borscht at Tatiana's down the boardwalk every season. I've seen teenagers run up the beach to help their grandmother down on the sand. I've heard an old woman eating ice cream call her friend from the boardwalk and say, "Guess where I am? Our special place." The Coney Island Boardwalk is an irreplaceable third place. It's reachable by train. The surrounding streets are walkable. Teens can hang out there all day in summer, and I teach teens, so I know how important that is. Coney Island is free. It's accessible. It's free. It's free.
Good afternoon, Mr. Brennan. So I'm gonna thank you, see you smiling. So I'm a 38-year resident, born and raised in Central Brooklyn, and now I live in South Central Brooklyn for 3 years and of course 10 months, if you think you don't mind. So I arrived through Coney Island, but I was in Amusement Park where I was doing a class trip throughout the month of June. My mother used to using the park throughout the summer. One time we received the ride, the boardwalk, and all that. Small businesses also being thriving. They have in this community. So, and fast forward to see like the gentrification and like displacement, but all the like the shops and of course the residents fear like that. If you go through like 4th Avenue, downtown Brooklyn, and even Williamsburg, Greenpoint, Waterfront, you see that a lot of gentrification displacement for over 20 years. Like fast forward, you see a lot of them like pushing people out. So why you want to pushing people out for a casino that doesn't benefit the resident or the small shop have been concerned with? But if it's the money you need for also jobs, housing, education, healthcare, like people who live on, people gonna die sometimes. Like, so this payment is not nothing new. If it's called by, it's not called by accident. It's called nothing but real estate speculation. It's called high-end small shop. Talk about a Gap. It's called the Shake Shop. Even like what's it called, the Whole Foods, a Trader Joe's. Like, who's gonna benefit for what? Affordable for who? But it's not affordable for like the resident who currently live in the borough or in any community. Or any New York City resident, and it used to be as well. So they figured, for Christ's sake. So there's like this payment is nothing new. It's called like nothing but all they said to do is sell the property, put the tenant homeowners out. They're absolutely seriously unacceptable. So we need to put how home in and don't rain Cuomo. That's it.
True. Hey, I'm Jess. I'm born in Coney Island. Taught there, went to school there, worked there, lived there 30 years, spent every summer there. You know, I'm kind of freaking out right now because I didn't come prepared and as much as I should be for something this important, but I have shown up to all of the community board meetings and will continue to show up. The people that are still in this room are all seem to be against this, which means that we really, you know, we're here for a reason. But the problems about a casino are well documented, like the community detriments, the psychological impacts. We don't need to talk about that. It's obvious. We know that. The jobs, we said they're probably going to be replaced. AI, people from outside the community, whatever it may be. This is not actually. We know that it's not for us. We know that this is going to destroy the landmark sort of environment fabric that we have going on in Coney Island. The demapping of the Bowery is the destruction of history. The demapping of those streets is the destruction of the character of Coney Island. Yeah, it's a little sketchy back there, but it's also very punk rock. I feel like, honestly, we know what this is about, but when we think about the real consequences of this, we have to think about climate change. We have to think about putting that 40-story building right on the shoreline and how that will increase the sinking of the already sinking land, how this threatens our climate resiliency and flood resiliency, how demapping the streets and increasing the traffic is increasing public safety concerns. We all have them. It's not just about, oh, I'm frustrated, I can't find a parking spot. It's like, how my grandma going to get into ambulance and how they're going to get out of the peninsula. But yeah, I'm going to be a social worker one day. I don't want to have to treat my community for any additional addictions than whatever's already going on. So that's it.
Hi, my name is Eric Thorpe Moscon. You heard my wife speak earlier. She spoke about the environmental concerns and the flooding, which I agree with and I second. I just want to say that we live 20 minutes away from Coney Island, so we basically walk there almost every weekend. We spend a lot of time there. We love it there. And I'm against this casino for the reason, many of the reasons that you've heard already, which were, you know, the problems that it brings, the gambling problems, the addictions, as well as it'll decimate the community like other casinos have done in other areas. And it'll have a rippling effect to the neighboring communities as well. And like I said, we're 20 minutes away. I don't want it to see it affect my neighborhood either. Additionally, I think I want to just address like what the pro side says about like how, you know, oh, like it's going to bring in all these jobs and we're going to hold them accountable and make sure they keep their promises. You're not going to hold them accountable. There's no way. Once they get what they want, once they tell you what they hear, that's it. They're going to do what they care about is their stockholders, their bottom line and their profits. And they're going to do anything to make sure that that's what happens. All those promises they're telling you are going to go right out the window. I don't trust them. And that's it. I would vote no on this casino. Thank you.
Thank you all very much.
We have one more. Is Johanna Grise? Grise? We'll hear from Ms. Grise, and then we will switch over to online testimony. If there's anyone left in the room with us today who has not already testified but wishes to do so, please fill out a speaker card with the sergeants, and we will take your testimony.
Go ahead.
Hey there, I'm Johanna. I was running around the city and I had to get back here in person because this is important to me. First, I'd like to address you directly, Mr. Brannon. I'm really disappointed to hear that you're probably for this casino because you and your team helped me save an injured bird at the beach. And I thought you cared about the environment. So this is going to kill our environment. Every day I have to check the AQI. I have asthma and we have a lot of pollution problems in our country and in this city especially. And this casino and the construction will make it 10 times worse. And it's very interesting to me, I could be wrong, but I was told that you switched to being for the casino after you got a huge donation from...
Just to correct the record, I've taken no stance.
Okay, great. Well, I would like it you would take a stance against it.
Okay, but just so we're clear, I haven't taken a stance.
Okay, I hope your stance will be no, though. And I know I don't mean to attack you, but I thought... Okay, fine, that's fine, but I hope you'll be against it then because this is really important and these people are lying and saying they're going to give jobs. I understand as an actor and a freelancer how hard it is to get work, but this is not going to help us. I don't know if you guys remember that woman who was set on fire in the subway system. Things like that are going to happen way more if you allow this casino to go forward because when people get drunk, when they do things like gambling, it becomes more dangerous. We've got schools. And for goodness sakes, I was at Coney all day yesterday. It was a beautiful day. I loved it. But we have a problem with like broken bottles on the beach. That's going to get 10 times worse if we have this casino. I can't believe this is even something that's being considered. This should be a landmark place. I'm 41. I've been going since when I was a kid. My parents took me to Coney. An Oscar-winning movie was made here. Nora was made here. It's not going to happen next time. Wildlife is going to be hurt. Atlantic City, I was just reading online before this, has been losing money. Like I said, a lot of poor people really quickly. The last point I'll make is the last zoning meeting I came to for this. Thor Equities bust people over from an adjacent community. And the one woman I said to her, she was this poor woman who was missing teeth with her walker. And I said, well, why do you want the casino? I just want to gamble. These are the people that they're going after, people who can really be hurt and are really susceptible. So please vote no. We need this sanctuary in this city, especially with everything going on. Thank you.
Could you please add that construction jobs are not community jobs?
That's true.
Union jobs.
They are, and they will not hire them. I know people have worked in casinos. They're not going to hire you.
Okay, we have one more in person. The name is Obsidian.
Okay. Hi, my name is Obsidian. I am the current reigning Miss Coney Island. And I wasn't planning on speaking today, but I feel that it's really important to just highlight everything that community is saying against a casino. Because as someone who has been very involved in this community, I have been speaking with a lot of the local residents, including the people who run the Wonder Wheel, the people who run Luna Park, and none of them are in favor of it. Coney Island USA, which is a huge nonprofit arts organization that I work for, is very much against the casino. I also have had people come up to me and ask me to do what I can to help not let what happened to Atlantic City happen to the people here on Coney Island. So I want to do whatever I can to help prevent that, and I hope that you all do as well. Also, one thing I wanted to comment on from earlier was when asked about the safety plan for public safety, they mentioned lighting. If lighting improved the safety, then Vegas would be considered safe, you know? And I'm sorry, it's not. The same with the historically Times Square. So many lights, so much crime. So I'm not really sure what the logic is there, but I also I am seeing the community being divided over this, and that's really painful to watch. And I just hope that at the end of all of this, we can listen to the facts, we can look at the statistics, and we can think about historically the damage that casinos have done to communities. So thank you so much for the time. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Ron Greenberg. Ron Greenberg, are you here? All right, so Ron Greenberg's not. Ron Greenberg. They say he's here. He's here? Okay. Ron Greenberg? No, Ron, we can't. Ron.
Ron, we called you three. We called you 3 times, Ron.
Okay. We're going to transition to Eddie Mark.
Thanks for showing who you really are. Really appreciate it.
We're going to, please, thank you. We're going to transition online. Mr. Greenberg, if you want, you could still submit written testimony to land use testimony at council.nyc.gov. We're going to transition to online. We're going to first start with Eddie Mark, Christian Marleri, Charles Denson, and Lori Gold. We'll begin first with Eddie Mark.
You may begin.
Hi, my name is Eddie Mark, and I'm the district manager here in Community Board 13. And what you guys has been hearing are people who have been saying yes and no to this casino demapping. Right now, we are, the community board has had public hearing, community meetings, and we also had the general board meeting. And in that meeting, we basically voted for, 11 people voted for the demapping, 24 have voted against the demapping, 2 have abstained, and 3 was relinquished their vote. Overall, the board has voted against the demapping of this project. As also, we heard and understand that this doesn't just affect our community, but the surrounding community. And we understand that there are problems with the traffic, problems with gambling, additional gambling, with crime, and things like this that we haven't even addressed when bringing a casino into the area. So we voted against this project for the demapping, and that's what the community board has spoken. Thank you.
Thank you, Eddie. Next, we'll hear from Christian Marleri.
You may begin.
Christian
You may begin.
Marleri.
Thank you, sorry. Good afternoon. My name is Christian Molieri, and I speak only for myself. I'm a Coney Island polar bear and member of Coney Island, USA. My household supports the ocean, the arts, our local bars and small businesses, the New Year's Day plunge, and the Mermaid Parade. I live here, serve here, and show up for this place year-round. Coney Island is not for sale. This project threatens to alter the character and fabric of our community. What they call development is just displacement with glossier branding. Developers want to demap public streets, including parts of Bowery and West 12th, to build a 1.3 million square foot casino resort with a hotel, convention center, and sky bridges. Demapping would disrupt our historic street grid and cut essential links between neighborhoods and the boardwalk. It prioritizes luxury over public access and undermines the inclusive spirit that defines Coney Island. One overlooked fact, West 12th Street is a designated fire lane and vital emergency route. The plan would erase it, turning it into a private driveway for a 1,500 car garage. That's not just rezoning, it's a public safety risk. In a dense, climate vulnerable neighborhood, every second matters. And those sky bridges, designed to trap casino patrons inside, bypassing the shops, restaurants, and street life that give this place soul. That's not revitalization. That's economic extraction from small businesses and cultural institutions that have weathered every storm, literal and political. Coney Island is a resilient living community, but our infrastructure is already stretched thin. We are climate vulnerable, transit congested, and deeply interconnected. This isn't just a bad fit, it's a corporate takeover, one that endangers the safety, culture, and future of our neighborhood. I urge you to vote no on the land use application and no on demapping our public streets. Protect the culture, protect the ocean, protect the community. Vote no. Thank you.
Charles Denson.
You may
Hello,
begin.
I'm Charles Denson, director of the Coney Island History Project located on West 12th Street. The casino developers earlier showed a photo and said casinos are a Coney Island tradition. Coney Island has never had a gambling casino. Restaurants and dance halls used to call themselves casinos, which just means house or little house. It has nothing to do with gambling. So get your facts straight and learn some history and stop showing that photo. Casino developers are asking for demapping so that they can buy air rights to build sky bridges connecting Thor Equity's properties. The purpose of a sky bridge is to make sure that no one leaves the casino once they enter it. They seek to cut people off from all surrounding streets and attractions and keep them inside gambling until their money runs out. The casino has a business plan based on addiction and greed. The developers are asking to transform Stowell Avenue and the Bowery into a pedestrian mall that will funnel people into the casino. Transforming Stowell Avenue will limit emergency access to the beach, boardwalk, and amusements for nearly a quarter-mile stretch of the world's most crowded beachfront. The streets that the developers want to take for the casino serve as fire lanes used by emergency vehicles, and closing the streets would also limit disability parking and wheelchair accessibility to the beach and boardwalk, a clear violation of federal ADA accessibility standards. The developers also want to transform West 12th Street into a 4-lane driveway for the casino. The project's environmental impact statement confirms that this will create a choke point and traffic nightmare at this intersection and all along Surf Avenue and through Coney Island. Existing businesses will have their deliveries blocked. Repair vehicles and utility trucks can no longer be able to serve any businesses south of Surf Avenue. PS 90 is located on West 12th Street, a block north of the proposed casino. When casino gridlock backs up on West 12th Street, it will have a negative
Time is
impact on the
expired.
school. The city should reject the demapping of these public streets.
Time is expired.
Thank you. Next we hear from Lori Gold.
You may begin.
Lori Gold, if you can hear me, please unmute and you may begin. Oh, Lori, if you're on the phone, is it star 9? I think it's star 9. You could press star 9 to unmute.
Hello?
Yes, we can hear you.
Can you hear Lori Gold?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, I'm at JFK and I'm going through security. Can you call me in the next group?
I got you, Miss
Sir?
Gold. Yes, I can. Yes, I can.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you. Thank you. Can I put this with my item?
Shh, please. The next group we're going to call consists of Victory Hines, Amanda Juice, Rain Riley, and Ida Sanoff. We'll begin first with Victory Hines.
You may begin.
Victoria Hines. Victoria Hines. Sorry. I'll do that.
Hello, my name is Victoria Hines, and I am here to testify against the development in Coney Island. My main concerns with the building of a new development in this area are the loss of many businesses on and in Coney Island, and the loss of rides in Luna Park amusement park. From my research, it seems that the Coney development will displace many of Coney Island's beloved structures, and this pains me. They say that this development will help bring change to the area, but I am here to tell you that change is only good if it's done for good. This project seems to be for the sole purpose of money. I appreciate progress, and I think Coney Island could use a boost in economy and jobs. But what it does not need is a new casino or even hotel. Instead, you can invest money in renovating the already existing neighborhood and repair housing or businesses so that the residents of Coney Island can thrive. This can add businesses and give jobs without compromising the existing structures of the city. As a New Yorker, I have concerns that gentrification might happen if the casino is built. This will appeal not to the residents already living in Coney Island, but to the young new generations who will be looking for somewhere to live, work, or eat after college and want to shop, eat, or live in Coney Island after the development's done. Prices of homes and apartments will start to become higher. People who were born or raised on the island will be persuaded to sell their places to the younger generation, and they will be forced to sell for the right price. This is what will start to happen to Coney Island if we are not careful to protect it. As a native Brooklynite, I have to go against the Coney development and instead propose investments and refreshing already existing buildings. This way, you do not have to lose the historic integrity of one of the most iconic places in NYC. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we hear from Amanda Douche. Amanda, you may begin.
Hi, my name is Amanda Deutsch, and I'm going to speak really fast to get it in 2 minutes. I've worked in Coney Island for the last 20 years. I also run a nonprofit there, and I'm a teacher, which is why I cannot be there in person today. I come from several generations of Coney Islanders, and I'm a resident of Southern Brooklyn. This is not just an amusement area. People live here. Oh, can I still be heard? Look at Joe Sitt's lots. As other members of our community have said, he has owned property for well over 15 years. If they cared about the community, if they cared about New York, if they cared about the amusement area, those would not be empty lots with rats and no running water. I urge anybody on this committee to come walk through Coney Island and see Thor Equity's year-round properties. Next up, if you want to talk about small businesses and history, they tore down the Henderson building on Surf Avenue in Stillwell and kicked out small family businesses. That was a viable, landmarkable building. This demapping is solely to line the pockets of those who are proposing it. They are taking away our public streets to line their pockets. These are everyone's streets, not a billionaire slumlords. For those on the committee, I urge you to look at New York history and which side of it you want to be on. Is the demolition of Penn Station remembered favorably? Do the right thing here. Lastly, in today's proposal, they mentioned that tenant and booth workers may use their entrance to get to their businesses. They said they will give an acre of land to the public. I think this says it all. They view stakeholders and residents as tenants and booth workers and offer New York City an acre. Think about that. If they want to apply for the casino license, they can, but the demapping should not go through. If you approve the demapping, you are essentially helping to greenlight their casino. They should propose to build on the land they already have. Oh shit, I lost my... and they let rot. In addition, please note that they do not have a plan B. They were not able to answer how much money they've already invested in the community. How could you not know that figure? They do not have a rendering ready for West 12th Street. I also want to mention that there is not one, but three. There are 3 schools within a block of this proposed demapping. They have not mentioned anything about how this will impact the schools. I also work on West 12th Street.
Your time has expired.
Thank you. I urge you to look at the environmental impact statement. Thanks.
Thank you. Next, we'll hear from Rain Riley.
You may begin.
Hi, my name is Rain Riley, and I fiercely reject the stupidly named Coney project. I live in Flushing, right by Citi Field, where another developer, Stephen Cohen, is harassing us with the same kind of racially targeted proposal. And Coney Island is very special to me. I grew up performing full-time since I was 5 and doing circus acrobatics. So when I moved to NYC, Coney was the first big place I went. All the special days were spent by the boardwalk, always at the freak show. I brought my dad there. We celebrated weddings there, right? I recovered from a tonsillectomy and then rode the cyclone out of pride. I performed at Coney in the theaters, on the boardwalk, throughout the park, peed my pants, right? None of the casino developers even live in Coney, much less have any precious memories. I'm lucky to have done a lot of high-profile gigs all over the tri-state area, including performances at casinos nearby and also in Atlantic City. And Atlantic City, if you didn't know, is rated among the poorest cities in the state. And the median income is, per person, $24,000. Last year, the residents still didn't even have their own supermarket. And it's home to gruesome crime, like when a serial killer targeted sex workers and arranged their bodies in a drainage ditch with their arms stretched towards the lights like that. And since 2019, I have proudly been a sex worker. I've seen some things behind the scenes, and I'm active in sex work unionizing and activism. So I've worked in all kinds of venues through all kinds of jobs. Las Vegas succeeds because it's Las Vegas. Coney Island is Coney Island. So if you really want that huge crowd and that volume and customer base that Vegas attracts, the first step is to at least legalize brothels. So why is it okay for casinos to steal from us and then it's not okay for us to serve each other legally? So like a previous testifier and many people, I'm also a wheelchair user. And when I lost my ability to walk safely in the last couple of years, I was devastated by the restrictions. And Coney Island is the one reliable place I can always go to and still have independent access the entire time.
It was so...
Transforming Civil Avenue will severely limit emergency access to the beach, boardwalk, and amusements for nearly a quarter mile. In conclusion, demapping of streets will disrupt historic family businesses.
Your time has expired.
Thank you very much. We can have public services that are flashy and attractive year-round, free, and that don't involve harming people. I vote for an indoor swimming park. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Ida?
Hello, this is Jeff Sandler. For some reason, my wife's name was on there, but I'd like to use my testimony. Is that okay, Chair?
No, it's not okay, Jeff. We're going
Okay,
not
let
to
me-
you yet, okay? We're now going to Ida Sanoff.
Coming.
You have to unmute. No, you don't. Go ahead.
Jeff, can you please mute?
Ida Sanoff is here. Ida Sanoff is here. Do you hear me?
Yes, I hear you, Ida. Go
Okay,
ahead.
good morning, Chair Riley and other members of the Subcommittee on Zoning and Franchises. I'm Councilmember Justin Brannan. I am reading testimony of Jeffrey Sanoff, who's chairperson of CB13. At the Land Use Committee on the demapping ULURP on January 15, 2025, the vote was 2 in favor, 7 opposed, and 1 abstention. The ULURP for this application was voted down. At the General Board meeting on January 21st, 2025, the board voted 11 in favor, 24 opposed, 2 abstentions, 3 relinquished. The ULURP was voted down. The Community Board has spoken loudly, rejecting the demapping ULURP. The proposed street demapping ULURP will have detrimental impacts on our community as followed. 30,000 additional visitors every single day. It will be July 4th every day in Coney Island. Boundary Street will be given to the casino developers. Parts of West 12th and Stilwell Avenue airspace will be sold. Casino parking will basically take over all of West 12th Street, which is also an entrance to Dino's Wonder Wheel. All of West 15th Street will be taken over by tour bus staging. The traffic will be forced onto Surf Avenue, which is already crowded year-round. Emergency vehicle access will be compromised. We have already had people die here in the summer because ambulances could not get through the traffic. There is limited options for traffic during the season, and this will make every day the summer season. It will involve permanent changes to the neighborhood's ability to get around. It will have a year-round impact on residents. Luna Park Amusements is not in favor of this, and they submitted a letter. Dino's Wonder Wheel Park is not in favor of
Your
this,
time's expired.
and they submitted a letter. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ida. Ida, did you read Jeff's testimony?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
And I stated that at the beginning.
Okay. So Jeff doesn't have to testify no more. Just wanted to make that clear, correct?
Okay?
Correct. Thank you very much, Chair.
All right,
So
thanks,
signed
Jeff.
up
So
to
we're going to take you off the
testify.
list, Jeff. Just wanted to make that clear.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you. Okay, the next group I'm going to call up consists of Sheila Smalls, Bruce Silverglade, Reverend Kevin McCall, and Christopher Leon Johnson. We'll begin first with Christopher Leon Johnson.
Yeah, hello, Chair Riley, Justin Brannan. My name is Christopher Leon Johnson. I am showing my support to the Brooklyn Casino. On the record, I used to be a Dirt BJ shop steward for the MTA Eastside Access. So, but at the same time, I'm not representing Dirt BJ. I am showing my support to the Coney Island bid. I support this casino because Brooklyn is left out in a lot of things. Shout out to the Queensboro president, Donovan Richards, who's really getting his thing done as Queens BP, while at the same time that our BP, Reynoso, needs to bring it home, needs to start doing the right thing for his borough and bring it home for the people. I understand he's trying to fight upstairs for downstairs on the 14th floor for the BMT, but at the same time, if you care about Brooklyn, the economic process of Brooklyn, Reynoso, you need to say yes to this project. And at the same time, Mr. Justin Brannan, you're running for control, and I understand that you don't want to lose, you're scared of losing Coney Island, but at the same time, you need to put your foot down as a man, not as a politician. Put your foot down as a man and say, look, I care about the economic development of Brooklyn. I care about the money that's being flowed into the district, and you need to vote. You need to support this project. At the same time, I'm calling out Mr. George Staratopoulos, who's from the city council. He needs to vote yes for this project. He needs to show support for this project too. I'm calling on the whole city council to vote yes on this project. I'm calling on Justin Brannan to support this project because we need the jobs. We need the jobs. All the unions, we need to work. This is going to benefit the communities. I believe that this is going to help out the young black male generate the black population and giving them jobs, and which will lower the crime rate in the city of New York. It will lower the crime rate and the prison population of young black men in Coney Island and the neighboring of Bay Ridge and Seagate. So, like I said, I'm calling on the city council to vote yes for this project. Vote in favor for this bid. Brooklyn needs the money. We need this in Brooklyn. I don't live in the district, but like I said, we need this in Brooklyn. Brooklyn
Thank you
needs this
for your testimony, Christopher.
Thank you so much.
Next, we're going to hear from Reverend Kevin McCall.
Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for the opportunity to speak today to Chair Riley, to Councilmember Brennan. I want to start by saying something that might surprise a lot of folks. I spent my whole life opposing major development projects like this one, especially in Brooklyn, for years. But I stood at community meetings and fighting and making sure that neighborhoods didn't get sold off to the highest bidder. And I fought against overdevelopment and displacement, against promises that were never kept. So if you ever asked me a couple of years ago where I stand about the idea of a Coney Island project, I would have told you no way. But sometimes in some things, as we devolve, we have to be honest with ourselves to see what makes sense. Not our values, not our principles, but our perspectives. Because I've come to the realization about spending time in Coney Island, and after listening and being in that area for a long time, isn't about just a flashy casino or a tourist destination. It's about a neighborhood that has been forgotten for the city for too long. This is about jobs, investment, opportunity. And for once, it feels like the community has a real seat at the table. Coney Island has been treated like an afterthought. It's only remembered in the summertime when the beaches and people come to bring their children. But after Labor Day hits, tourists go home, so does the job, so does dollars. And the people are still trying to raise their families, still trying to pay rent, still trying to find full-time work in this part-time economy. So I'm grateful that this isn't just a casino. It's a chance to create a full economic ecosystem. It's a chance to turn Coney Island into a destination for the works for everyone, not just visitors, but the residents. And I look forward.
Your time has expired.
Oh, I just want to add one thing. Can I add one more thing?
Go ahead.
Coney Island deserves more, not just in the summer all year round, but in the project. This isn't about gambling. It's about hope and finally betting on the people of Coney Island.
Thank you very much. Next we hear from Sheila Smalls.
You may begin.
Yes, good afternoon. I'm in favor of the street demapping action. I'd like to talk about Surf Avenue and West 12th Street. At one time, we did have a footbridge leading from the train station to the boardwalk, which it made it very safe for the people who were going back and forth. And it also alleviated all of the people that were turning right on right into the traffic on Surf Avenue from West 12th Street. So the community board voted to take that down. They were saying it costs too much to put it back up. The community board also took streets that were going, all the traffic going into Coney Island, that was going out of Coney Island. They diverted and changed the blocks. So instead of a block going up and one going down, they made all the blocks going into Coney Island and only making a few coming back out of Coney Island. 60 Precinct is another deterrent with the traffic. What they do is hold the people hostage that are in the area that comes for the concerts so that the people from the baseball field can go out. And mind you, they're directing drunk people out of the baseball field, okay, and holding the rest of the community hostage in the meantime. Okay, so we have the community board and DOT to thank for the traffic jams. How could you sit there and put the blocks going up and nothing coming out? Okay, so they need to put that back the way it was. And because they want to do the demapping and make the footbridges, I think that would alleviate some of the traffic. I think that Community Board 13 is very not in favor of anything good for the people in the West Island. Okay, I'm going to say it for the West of Coney Island because they don't want us to have anything.
Thank you, Ms. Smalls.
Okay, and I'm saying to my councilman, why can't they bring in?
Thank you, Ms. Smalls. We have to
Why
end your
can't they
testimony.
bring
Thank you
in?
so much.
Why can't they bring in the ferry? The ferry.
Thank you.
Thank
Next,
you.
I'm just gonna ask when the time is expired and you gotta continue. You could submit your testimony online. We have over
Yes, sir.
100 people online wanting to testify. So
Yes,
we're
sir.
trying to give everyone 2 minutes, okay? So if everyone online could hear the voice, please wrap it up after you hear the bell. Thank
I
you.
didn't hear a bell. Sorry.
Next, we're gonna call on Paula Jenkins, Audrey Garrett, Bailey Kelly's, and Charles Armstead. We're gonna hear first from Paula Jenkins.
You may begin.
Hello, you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, good afternoon. My name is Paula Jenkins. I'm the Tenant Association president at the Marble Houses in Brooklyn. I've lived there most of my life, and I've witnessed both attention and neglect that come with public housing. Many of the kids and seniors have no place to go. The kids need jobs, seeing these activities. I believe a casino in Coney Island is a solution. Kids can be trained and land good jobs. They could get certified for union jobs, perhaps be part of the construction crew, or get hired as hotel staff. Kids need opportunities to gain skills and get employment. Our seniors look forward to our organized trip to Atlantic City. With Coney right here, quick trip, you don't have to leave the city safely. Train stations, come right across the street, come out of the casino, get back on the train, go home safely. With the casino complex in Coney Island, they can keep their entertainment activities local without having to travel out of New York. NYCHA residents deserve more opportunities to improve our quality of life year-round. I fully support the Coney Casino project, and I hope you will support it too. Thank you.
Thank you. Audrey Garrett. Audrey Garrett, if you can hear me, please begin.
Audrey Garrett, you got a Renee Gary, can she come in?
Yeah, we hear you, Audrey. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Okay. Audrey Garrett, are you there?
You may begin.
Okay, we don't have Audrey. Can I have Bailey Kelly's?
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Go ahead.
Okay. My name is Bailey Kellis. I am a Brooklyn resident and performer. One thing I've noticed with all these proceedings regarding the demapping, I need to point out the lack of specifics, not only from Thor Equities, but those speaking in support of the demapping and casino construction. You speak repeatedly with the same vague talking points, might I mention. You speak of job opportunities, but do not talk pay rates. Give actual numbers. Also note these are jobs, not careers. You speak of economic growth, but ignore that casino patrons coming to gamble will not want to come to your tiny businesses. You speak of a walkway into Coney Island, but this is a walkway into the casino in aim to keep people inside, not going to these small businesses. The performers that others have mentioned that they love will be priced out of venues to perform in exchange for high-priced, censored, safe, and generic entertainment within the casino, not the freak shows that we know and love. People have mentioned crime and struggle to get around and park already, so why add to that? As Councilman Brannan has said, $2 million is a drop in the bucket compared to the billions that Joe Sitt and Thor Equities will reap. That is, if they don't abandon this project and leave it empty. Again, a casino is not the only growth opportunity. It is not a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. We need to pursue ventures that will harmonize with Coney Island's historic identity, not erase it. Mr. Brannan, you have said you love Coney Island, Luna Park, the Cyclone, the Polar Bear Plunge, the Mermaid Parade. Please do not be known as somebody who contributed to destroying that. A good way to get votes for comptroller is to show that you are for the people, not the billionaires. Thank you so much.
Next, we'll hear from Charles Armstead. Charles, if you can hear me, please unmute and you may begin.
I'm Charles Armistead, the faith team leader for the National Stop Predatory Gambling Foundation. All religions agree that gambling is a menace to society, deadly to the best interests of moral, social, economic, and spiritual life, and destructive of good government. Why? In gambling, only 1% come out ahead, the other 99% lose. In casino gambling throughout the U.S., only the casino wins, sucking money out of and causing harm to the community within the 30-mile radius in spite of all the positives people try to say. But why? How do casinos cause harm? Just as the tobacco industry intentionally increases nicotine, sugars, flavors, and menthol in tobacco to intentionally create addictions, the gambling industry, casinos, intentionally create addictions to exploit their patrons. How? They make it hard for people to leave the building. They rig the games for near misses, encouraging maybe next time. They disguise losses as wins. They provide a false sense of control, such as in blackjack games. They have no windows or clocks, causing the gamblers to lose track of time. They use lights, sounds, and music, giving the sense that everybody's winning. They provide free food and drinks. They place ATMs and restrooms near the action where people get their money. A quick restroom relief so they can get back to gambling quicker. They use chips that reduces a gambler's sense of what they've waged. They have increased the speed of games, such as slots. Increasing the speed gives a false sense of hope. Maybe the winning will come sooner. They create a false sense of gambler's mind that after a horrible losing streak, they just might win the next. All religions view casinos as wolves in sheep's clothing, ready to attack and exploit, manipulating local governments for approval and blessings so they can legally steal from the community. Receiving $1 billion or more from a casino is not worth the pain politicians will inflict on the community through a casino. Please reject this casino. Any questions?
No questions, Charles. Thank you so much for testifying, though. One more time for Audrey Garrett. Audrey Garrett, are you there? Okay. The next panel we're going to transition to in person real quick. We're going to hear from Ron Greenberg. Is there anyone else in person that wants to testify? Please see one of the sergeant at arms. Thank you. After Ron Greenberg, we're going to hear from Lori Gold, Maribel Rodriguez, Emily Ganita, Christina Nelson, and Shannon Williams. Ron, you may begin.
Good afternoon. My name is Ron Greenberg.
Ron, if you could press the mic. Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Ron Greenberg. I'm a board member at Brooklyn Community Board 13 and a board member of the Neighborhood Advisory Board for Brooklyn 13, speaking on behalf of myself. I strongly support to approve the Coney Development's application presented today for the purposes of an amendment to New York City map for the demapping action, as it is reasonable and appropriate and beneficial to and not egregiously harmful to the environment of the community. The Coney Casino is a once-in-a-generation opportunity to return the People's Playground Amusement District to its former glory as a year-round destination while simultaneously rejuvenating nearby disadvantaged communities. The benefits of the project far outweigh the risks, and those who oppose the proposal suffer from closed-mindedness, myopic vision, and are unable or unwilling to fathom the totality of the project's conceptual design. The Coney Casino's investment includes the Coney Trust that will adhere to the Public Authorities Accountability Standards Act to ensure transparency and accountability and community oversight. Arguments against the Coney Casino's development are not in the best interest of the local community and are actually NIMBYism and holds back progress. Security in the local community will be greatly enhanced from the large influx of additional police officers and other first responders necessitated by the Coney Casino, and crime will not increase. For example, Resorts World New York City Casino, located by Ozone Park in Queens, did not cause an adverse impact on crime in similar socio-economic distressed communities located relatively nearby in East New York and Jamaica. Major traffic increases caused by the Coney Casino will not ruin residential and commercial quality of life or endanger lives, as even the most highly congested streets of Midtown Manhattan function adequately and provide timely emergency vehicles responses in spite of car density. Damage to mental health from having more opportunities to gamble as justification being against is specious reasoning, as online gambling on smartphones are now ubiquitous and only a few clicks away for all.
Thank you, Ron.
Thank you very much. I support the project.
Thank you. There being no questions, you're not excused, Ron. We're going to transition back to online testimony. We're going to begin first with Lori Gold. Ms. Gold, are you there? Lori Gold?
You hear me?
Yes.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we
Okay,
hear you,
thank
Ms.
you
Gold.
very much.
Go ahead.
And they're about to push off, so I'm going to try to speak very quickly. I'm Lori E. Gold. My family has lived in Coney Island for 60 years. We were the initial tenants of Brightwater Towers. My family has been very involved with the city for the better. In fact, my younger sister, Grace Gold, her death in 1979 was what was the impetus for New York City's facade laws, which most recently were updated this year. I helped the city commission, so my heart is in the right place. Addressing Council Member Brannon's question about, is this a good project? Suffice it to say, it could be a great project. Good project, wrong place. This is having an elephant fall on an outline of a flea, and unfortunately, the flea is the iconic Coney Island. This resilience plan that they speak about, elevating themselves, where there is storm surge, where we're thinking is going to, it's going to hurt the historic Coney Island Museum, which is landmarked. My final point is that this is a de facto eminent domain and has no bona fide economic impact, which is what eminent domain is supposed to do. Thank you very much, Mike.
Thank you, Lori. Have a safe trip.
Okay, thank you.
Well, Maribel Rodriguez, are you there?
You may begin.
Maribel Rodriguez. Maribel Rodriguez?
Yes, I'm here.
You may begin, Ms. Rodriguez.
Yes, I'm against this. I don't feel this project will benefit our community. I am totally against it. As a grandmother of 19 and a great-grandmother of 5, this is not going to benefit our children. This is going to bring down my community furthermore than what it is. So I don't agree with this casino being built. I'm sorry. I'm no for the casino.
Thank you, Ms. Rodriguez. Next, we're going to hear from Emily Janetta.
Hi, yeah, my name is Emily Janetta.
You want the prescription? Let me go up and get it.
Ms. Rodriguez, can you please mute? Emily, you may begin.
Thank you. I'm Emily. I've been a resident of New York City for nearly 20 years now. I live in South Brooklyn and I'm a social worker. Until very recently, I was actually employed in the area of workforce development. So I am certainly not opposed to bringing more jobs to our area. However, we need more than just jobs. We deserve public space, public parks, places where we can go to relax and have fun. I personally go to Coney Island at least once a week, year-round, to walk on the boardwalk. I'm trying to start a family, and I want to be able to take my kids to the boardwalk to walk in the sun. A very basic, simple quality of life aspect that we all deserve. I do not want to be taking a young child to have to walk under a giant looming building that is destroying the existing arts and culture of our area. I know I am certainly not the only one who loves going to the Freak Bar, the Coney Island Circus Sideshow. We have these incredible cultural institutions that are going to be utterly swallowed by this giant building. And what we're being presented with here is a false choice. We don't have to choose between having jobs and having a beloved amusement area and beach access to relax in after we finish our jobs. We deserve both. We can have both. People who live in richer areas of the city are never asked to give up, say, access to Central Park or Prospect Park in order to have jobs. So we don't deserve to have to give up our incredible beach community to create those jobs. Please reject this proposal and demand better for South Brooklyn. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we'll hear from Christiania Nelson.
Hi, yes, I'm Christiana Nelson. I'm a longtime resident of Brooklyn, and I love Coney Island so much that I showed up to speak in person and stood in the hot sun for 45 minutes and until I had to leave, and I wanted to join by Zoom to voice my strong opposition to this casino. I've been listening to the testimony today, and what I'm hearing across the board is that people don't want a casino. They want good jobs. They want investment in the community and safety and infrastructure. And I want that too, but I refuse to accept this false and dangerous narrative that the only way to bring jobs to Coney Island is by destroying the things that make it great in the first place. This casino will destroy this community and this beautiful, family-friendly tourist destination. Let's be clear, this is about a billionaire real estate investor asking you to give away some of our precious public land for free so that he can line his pockets. I live near Barclays Center, and those wealthy developers made the neighborhood a lot of promises back then too, and they have not delivered. In fact, a few weeks ago, the deadline for affordable housing that they promised passed, and not only are we not getting the affordable housing, they're not even paying the fines that they agreed to pay. We get nothing. Promises made are not promises kept. Coney Island is my favorite place in the city. My husband proposed to me on the Wonder Wheel. After my 2 kids were born, Coney Island was one of the first places we took them as babies. When my kids were toddlers, I'd take them on weekdays to the little rides, and I'd enjoy seeing the groups of school kids running around, having a great time. We visit multiple times in the summer and in the winter, and I bring my kids to walk on the boardwalk and visit the aquarium. People come to Coney Island to spend time with their families, to go on dates, to spend time in a beautiful place outside. It's a place for joy, and it's open to everyone. Please, I am personally appealing to the politicians who have the power to vote on this today. Don't let billionaire greed destroy my favorite place in New York City. I've heard you talking on New York One about how you support the people and you want to fight for the people. Well, actions speak louder than words. Actions speak louder than words. Vote no. Take action today and vote no on this disastrous proposal. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we're going to hear from Shannon Williams.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Shannon, born and raised native of the Sweet Republic of Brooklyn. Unfortunately, I was displaced from Brooklyn maybe 3 years ago due to gentrification and increased rent, and I had to relocate. But when I heard about the news about this project, it broke my heart, and I had to say something or do something. I feel like Coney Island is not just an amusement park, it is a landmark. People in Europe, people in Africa all want to come to Coney Island to experience the Ferris wheel, to get a Nathan's hot dog, to be on the boardwalk, and to experience the culture of Brooklyn. If we get rid of Coney Island and bring a casino, Brooklyn is dead. There is no more Brooklyn. Brooklyn has a pulse that is barely hung along to. And if we get rid of Coney Island, we'll no longer have that. I feel like once we bring in this casino, we'll have nothing but an increase in the drugs that is already there, an increase in prostitution. There'll be an increase in a huge amount of traffic. You can barely get through on a regular weekend. Imagine if there's a casino there, and just piggybacking off what Christiana said, people in the neighborhood don't want a casino. A casino is not going to bring anything positive. We need more jobs. Why don't we increase the protection when it comes to police? Why don't we increase when it comes to schooling? Why don't we think about other ways that we can help the community? I don't think a casino will help us at all. I think that, why don't we put it in Howard Beach or we put it in Reese Beach? We already have a staple in Coney Island. And if we get rid of that, I don't think that the neighborhood will prosper from this. I feel like I've listened to the testimony of the people that are from Coney Island. And again, they don't want anything more than jobs, and they want safety in their neighborhoods. And if we put focus on that, I think that we'd benefit better than just putting something as vile as a casino where people come to spend the money that they don't already have and to waste it. It's just not going to be beneficial. And that's my thoughts.
Thank you. The next panel I'm going to call on consists of Renee Gary, Shayna Blankenship, Faristra Safi, and Jennifer Ponsner. We'll begin first with Renee Gary. Do we have a Renee Gary?
Yes, can you hear me now?
Yes, go ahead.
Yes, my name is Renee Gary. I am from Coney Island. And I feel that Coney Island don't have nothing at all, nothing at all. So with the casino being up there, it would really be beautiful. It would help the seniors because the seniors don't have nothing to do. And as far as the buildings, they building bigger buildings in Coney Island, so it ain't sink then, it ain't gonna sink now. So therefore, yes, we do need a casino out there. It will bring something beautiful to our neighborhood and to our community, and it will bring jobs for our children, and we will have something to do. Yes, I do say have the casino out there, please. We need it. Thank you.
Next, I'm gonna call on Shanae Blankenship.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Hi, I'm from Coney Island, been living there all my life, have my children there, my family from there, one of the first people to live in Coney Island. I'm totally against the casino because it's not going to benefit the community. We do want jobs, and I am for change. I've been wanting change in Coney Island for years now, and all I've seen was Thor buying a property and just leaving it there. If they really cared about our community, they would have been giving us something for jobs. People talk about it'll bring in jobs for our young men. Yes, construction for a short period of time. Once that's done, it's over. And then the casino jobs are not going to give you enough to live. We already can't afford the cost of living now. And then they want to bring this in to make it harder. No one's going to leave a casino to go support our small businesses. We already have to outsource to go to get things because we are constantly losing our small businesses in our community. This I just strongly oppose it. I don't think it's right. We already deal with extreme congestion, and this would just make it 10 times worse. I have to leave and go to work every single morning and every day, and it's not safe. I don't understand how anyone thought a casino at a place that there's one way in and one way out made any sense. I don't hear anyone talk about how it would truly benefit the community. They talk about jobs, and yes, we need jobs, and I want change, but not to take away the culture and the history of what Coney Island represents. So I'm strongly opposed it. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we'll hear from Faristra Safi. Excuse me if I mispronounce your name.
Good afternoon. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. Hi, my name is Faristra Saifi. I'm a third-year medical student born and raised in Coney Island, and I'm against this casino. Sure, my home value might increase with the casino, but I care more about the health, safety, and future of my community more than money. As a future doctor and somebody who worked at a health center in Coney Island, I am deeply aware of the serious health challenges that Coney Island faces, from high rates of comorbidity illnesses to lack of access to quality medical care. Adding a casino will only worsen these issues. Gambling addiction, financial instability, and increased crime have been well documented in neighborhoods surrounding casinos such as Atlantic City. When surveys were done for this casino proposal, where residents really asked what we need, was anyone really asking people in Coney Island, why are they unemployed? Because I'll tell you, it's not from a lack of access to work. There's a lack of access to education, job training, and healthcare, especially mental health care. And a casino doesn't solve any of that. I've been to Atlantic City many times. You think casinos make jobs? I've seen employees still in their uniforms feed their paychecks into the slot machines before they even leave the building. And one speaker before had said that casinos build careers. But shouldn't we be telling the kids the only way to build a future is through gambling? No, we shouldn't be doing that. We should try to invest their talents in colleges, trade schools, internships, and small businesses. One speaker earlier was right. It's not even safe to walk alone at night in Coney Island. Now imagine what happens when people are walking around with cash in their pockets. That's not safety. That's a setup. And if there had been a casino when I was younger, I might have fallen into that easy money trap. Instead, I'm becoming a doctor, and I have a dream to come back to Coney Island and serve the community as a physician. So Coney Island deserves better. We deserve hope, not another reason for addiction. And currently, we are in a recession, so I don't know anybody who's gambling their money right now. So say no to the casino. Thank you.
Thank you. Next panel we're going to hear from consists of Oh, no, we didn't finish this panel. Sorry. Jennifer Ponsner, are you there?
Yes, thank you.
Go ahead, Jennifer. Sorry about that.
No problem. I am a lifelong Brooklynite. I grew up just down the block from Luna Park, the last building on Ocean Parkway. I saw Luna Park from my bedroom window. I went to junior high school at Mark Twain in Coney Island. And just 2 years ago, I took my engagement pictures at Coney Island. I want to echo what everybody from the neighborhood has said, as well as everybody who, especially the historian who spoke about the history. When I was at Mark Twain Junior High School, the first paper, I'm a journalist, the first paper I ever wrote at 13 maybe, was a history of Coney Island and how this was a center of tourism for the entire world in the 1900s, early 1900s. You can only destroy Coney Island once. Those short-term jobs will go away. The economic disaster that casinos bring, the health, the financial instability, the economic and social instability that casinos bring, that lasts forever. But destroying the beating heart of Brooklyn, destroying the beating heart of one of the tourism centers, that one of the last remaining affordable and accessible places for families to spend their time, that lasts forever. Do the right thing, preserve the beating heart of Brooklyn. Do not destroy it for short-term gains for billionaires. We, the people of Brooklyn and the people of New York, will remember the politicians who either do the right thing or who do the wrong thing and sell us out to extract wealth from our communities via false promises of financial investment that we know will never come. Thank you.
Thank you. The next panel we're going to hear from consists of John Queegee. Excuse me if I mispronounce your name, and Bruce Silverglade. Also, Keith Suber. We'll begin first with Keith Suber. Keith? Keith Suber? Okay, we'll move on to John. John, your last name is spelled Q-U-I-J-I-J-E.
Can you guys hear me?
Oh, go ahead, Keith.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. My name is Keith Suber. I'm a long-term community resident. Very involved with getting jobs for the people from the neighborhood. I hear a lot of the people talk about how Thor Equities left their properties undeveloped for years. You have to understand, as a business owner, it takes a plan. So they've been planning and waiting for this opportunity to come. You don't want to put up something and then have to tear it down. It's not that they have been neglecting the neighborhood. Thor Equities has done a lot, and I'm quite sure they will continue to do a lot. And one of the main focuses I know is traffic, congestion issues, but I'm quite sure they will fix the problem. The city planning commission, you guys, the city council, I'm quite sure you can put a plan together and make it accessible for people to get in and out, emergency vehicles. And I'm just like, you look at the history of life. One of my favorite cartoons was the Flintstones. So when they introduced the Jetsons, I didn't know what was going on, but now we have microwaves, we have flying cars, we have TVs, remote control. So we have to prepare our children for the future, this is what it is. It has to become modernized. Coney Island is a great place. It's a place of amusement. It's what it was, the name itself is what it was built on. So we would love to see the growth and development of new things coming to the neighborhood via the casino. So I say yes to the Coney.
Thank you, Keith. Next we have from John Queegee.
You may begin.
John. John, you could press *9 to unmute.
Hello, can you hear me now?
Yes, we can.
Hi, hello. My name is John Kihihe. I'm a 22-year-old resident in Brooklyn, and I oppose this casino being built on Coney Island as it stands as more of a means to gain large access money for billionaires and the upper middle class. This casino is not going to help anyone in Coney Island. It's going to cause more harm than good. A lot of people in Brooklyn are already struggling with their rents, and job prices or jobs are hard to find, and jobs with good pay are even harder to find. So no one is going to go out to a casino when there's a recession with Trump in office, actively targeting our communities here. Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm very new to this. This is my first time trying to participate in something like this, but having a casino built in Coney Island really isn't going to help anyone, especially the future generations, as most of the people my age are scared due to financial reasons. And I know a lot of like my parents, my cousins, my aunts, they're all struggling too financially. This building project is not going to help anyone. I do not think it should be out in Coney Island. Coney Island is known for being a place of community and gathering. I love going to Coney Island, and the casino is just going to destroy that for everyone. Thank you for your time.
No, thank you for your time and testifying, John. Hopefully we'll hear from you again to testify on another project. Next we'll hear from Bruce Silverglade. Do we have a Bruce Silverglade?
You may begin, Bruce.
Bruce Silverglade. Okay. There's no Bruce Silverglade. Okay. All right. So we're going to stand at ease. If there's anyone else in here who hasn't testified, who wants to testify, please see one of the sergeant at arms. If there's anyone online that we did not call, please use the raise hand function and we will call you to testify. We will stand at ease for 30 seconds. If there's anyone online who did not testify yet, if you testified online, then we cannot take another testimony from you. If there's someone online who did not testify already, please use your raise hand function. Okay. All right. If Audrey Garrett.
Yes, can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you. Go ahead.
Okay, great. Thank you. I'm 25. I'm a New York resident. Coney Island is a sanctuary for young people, families, and New Yorkers. I have found Coney Island to be a safe haven for me. I had my birthday there. I've fallen in love there. All my friends go there. And the Coney would be a destruction of the succinct 442 acres. And it would be an emotional and permanent devastation. I really want to be clear that I think if we add this, this would be permanent. And so we can't reverse. If we let this happen, we can't get the Coney Island we know and love today. We can't get it back. The Coney talked about having an acre of community space. I don't think that would be sufficient. Everyone I know, all my friends, it's a beautiful third space for us, and having just that 1 acre would be pretty tough. It's the best place on earth. It's the best place in New York. So I'm strongly against, and thank you for hearing me.
Thank you, Ms. Garrett. Is there anyone else online who wishes to testify who did not testify yet? Please use the raise hand function. We'll stand at ease for 10 seconds. Okay. There being no other members of the public who wish to testify on LU 297 relating to the Coney development proposal, the public hearing is now closed and the item is laid over. That concludes today's business. I would like to thank the members of the public, my colleagues, subcommittee council, land use, and other council staff, and the Sergeant at Arms for participating in today's meeting. This meeting is hereby adjourned. Thank you, everyone. Thank you.